What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Marlon. We are back at it again with another edition of the show. Thank you guys so much for the tremendous support on the channel and for making this the premier place where you get your PlayStation news, your Xbox news, reviews, and all the above right here on the channel. So if this is your first time visiting the channel, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and turn on that post notification bell so you never miss out on the daily discussions in the land of PlayStation and Xbox. All right, guys, so we have a lot of things to go over and discuss when it comes to PlayStation. I mean, this past week was pretty interesting for PlayStation. A lot of people are losing faith in PlayStation. A lot of people are saying it's doom and gloom for PlayStation. A lot of people are throwing their hats into the arena, saying that they're questioning why they bought a PlayStation 5 in the first place. It's a lot. It's a lot on the table right now that we have to go over and discuss. So welcome to the stream. If you're just now coming in, make sure you guys hit the like button for me. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend, a great Memorial weekend, and today is Memorial Day, so hope all is well. We have some things to dig into and go over. We have tabs full of topics to go over and discuss. So I hope you guys are ready because I have a lot to say and I have a lot to go over. So please, like we've been doing, make sure you guys hit the like button for me, share the stream, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so first thing that we're going to go over is obviously the talk right now that PlayStation ain't got no games. And I'm done with PlayStation and I'm going to trade in my PS5. And I mean, obviously we've been hearing that when it comes to Xbox, right? I mean, oh yeah, I'm going to get rid of my Series X. And after the whole Phil Spencer interview, and some people are even going as far as to say, well, this generation is whack. You know, this generation there's nothing exciting. Games are looking like PS4. Games are looking like Xbox One. There's really no huge leap forward in terms of graphics or in terms of just like anything new under the sun. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's being said right now. Spiderman 2 is underwhelming, this and that, blah, blah, blah. The graphics, it looks like Uncharted 4, even though Uncharted 4 was amazing. People are comparing it to Miles Morales and saying it's not that much better, blah, blah, blah. But we do have a update here coming from one of the creative directors on the game. And so we got some good news in terms of the graphics and what we saw in terms of what was displayed during the PS5 Showcase. We also have an update here pertaining to Factions 2. That was another topic over the weekend that was literally on fire in terms of Bungie overseeing Factions 2 and giving their thoughts on it in terms of the whole game as a service type model and whatever the case may be. But we have some information here pertaining to the developers and what they have to really say. Because me per se, I would listen to the developer versus listening to anybody else in the industry, right? And so we're going to go over that because a lot of people are really not talking about what the actual Naughty Dog developers are actually saying. I mean, everybody was a little salty pertaining to what Naughty Dog had put out there, and they're working on a single player game. Some people were saying that, well, they're just damage controlling, blah, blah, blah. They're saying that they need more time, this, that, and the third, right? So we're going to go over that. We're also going to go over Sony's shift and their plans in terms of how they're going to be structuring their games. Now, we did learn that Sony's going to be having at least, 2 to 3 games a year, big releases, you know, and it's going to be a mixture of single player, multiplayer, whatever the case may be, right? And They recently had their investor meeting going over a lot of things pertaining to PlayStation, pertaining to the growth and what their plans are moving forward, especially for financial year 2025 and things of that nature. That I would say will kind of scare some people, but we're going to go over that and dig into all of that right here on the show for you guys. Also, very important to note, Jim Ryan coming out, basically talking about the lifetime of the PS5 and where he sees PS5 when it's all said and done. I mean, that is some very, very important things to kind of go over and discuss. We're also going to be talking about the rumor that's been going around with Project Q, battery life, and how some people are saying that, well, it's dead on arrival if the battery life is going to be that low. We're also going to be going over some PS5 sales and how the PS5 is actually performing. And so, with that being said, we have a lot to go over and discuss, but I really got to give my opinion first before I actually go ahead and get started here. So, again, just a couple household things. If you're just now coming in, please hit the like button for me, share the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's keep on crushing it, guys. We've been doing so great. And oh, by the way, we just hit, maybe 3 days ago, 200 members. So we hit our goal before the year is out. So let's see if we can double that or at least get another 100 members or so. So I appreciate you guys. We've been doing very, very good on here. And so thank you, guys. I cannot stress it enough. Peter Apples, thank you so much, man. Says, you the man. Nah, thank you so much. You're the man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So, I do have a lot to go over and discuss. Now, when it comes to Sony right now, a lot of people are disappointed. Rightfully so, because after that PS5 showcase, yeah, majority of what was shown was third party. And a lot of people are looking at that and like, okay, well, everything that was shown, we waited almost 2 years. And yeah, all those games, majority of them are on other platforms, right? Where is the first party stuff? Okay. People are saying Sony ain't got no games. They got games. They have a lot of games. They just haven't shown them, right? In the PS5 showcase. Okay. So people are going as far as like they're losing faith in PlayStation at this point because they're frustrated. They're like, hey, man, where is the big AAA stuff from your first party studios? What's going on? You know, I'm losing hope right now. You know, this generation so far is underwhelming and this and that. Even though Sony has been the aggressor here out the gate since 2020, putting out more software than their competition in terms of first party. And this is why I say from the very beginning that Sony is not perfect. They're not perfect at all. Like, they make mistakes. But I feel like when it comes to their first party output, they've been holding the mantle in terms of them and Microsoft. They've been out pushing Microsoft in terms of that. I mean, obviously right now we're hearing rumors of a second PlayStation 5 showcase, which we're going to go over and discuss. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility because right now people are like, you better have a second PS5 showcase because that just can't be it. Like, you can't just give us that PS5 showcase after 2 years and expect people to buy more PS5s or expect people to keep their PS5s, which out of the realm of Spiderman 2, there is nothing else first party wise. I mean, everything else is still in the dark, right? I mean, what about the unannounced game that is supposed to be dropping this year from a VFX artist that was saying that he's working on an unannounced PS5 game? Where is that? That wasn't shown at the PS5 showcase. That's supposed to be slated for this year. There was a lot of stuff that was supposed to be at this PS5 showcase that was not there. We got reports from Tom Henderson and the Snitch basically saying that Sony was holding back And, Tom Henderson claimed to see trailers and this and that. I mean, they have games finished and ready to be shown and ready to go and this, that, and the third, right? So clearly they do have games, right? But people are saying Sony don't have any games because, again, out of everything that they supposedly have or ready to be shown or ready to go is not being shown, right? So one would say, oh, they don't have any games. They don't have anything outside of Spider-Man. Well, listen, they do. It's just that they need to show the games, right? And whatever else is happening in this year. Now, moving forward, what else I'm going to talk about on the show today is probably going to scare some people, but this is the reality. Now, Sony had their financial numbers come out, right? And they had charts of how the PS5 is progressing over PS4 and different investments in terms of, how they're going to be structuring their games moving forward. Now, there's this heavy presence that we're going to be talking about here today when it comes to the games, right? Now, 60%, which we're going to look at the chart, 60% of Sony's investment is going to be in live service. The other 40% is traditional. Traditional meaning single player. Now, that could really raise an alarm for some people. Why is that, Marlon? Because if you have been a PlayStation fan since the very beginning, you know that Sony is known for their single player games, which we've heard Herman Hulst come out and say, well, yeah, single player games are not going anywhere. We're still going to make those single player games. But Sony got to make money, right? These single player games cost a lot of money versus the live service games. See where I'm going with this? So the problem is with games as a service is that it has to make sense and it has to stick, because building a live service game is cheaper than building a single player game. For instance, God of War Ragnarok, $200 million to make. These single player games cost a lot of money, right? And the problem is with the single player games is that people get tired. Because here's the thing. Case in point with Spider-Man 2. People are complaining, saying that it ain't much different, this and that. Besides the graphics and things of that nature, or besides the general thing of, it needs more polish or whatever the case may be, which I've been saying, like, it needs to be polished, which rightfully so, it is being polished as we speak. But some people are like, it's more of the same. There's nothing different here. Okay, well, Spider-Man 2 cost a lot of money to make, right? Only to disappoint people. So you see where I'm going with this? It's like Sony is looking at this like, okay, these single player games, after the third installment, people get tired. They get bored. They're like, okay, it's more of the same. And the graphics is not a huge leap forward. So why are you keep making these games? So you're going to have to decide, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to reboot the franchise, or we're going to move on to something else? And rightfully so, I think at this moment, a lot of people are wanting new IPs versus sequels, because for some reason people are saying, well, these sequels are developed with PlayStation 4 in mind, or started around the time of the PlayStation 4. Hence why the games look the way how they look. People are expecting games to look miles better, right, than how they're being presented. And rightfully so. The PS5 is more powerful than PS4. And so hence why a lot of people are disappointed. Now, the majority is happy with Spider-Man 2. They're saying, oh, the gameplay looks fun. And hey, who cares about graphics, right? And then on the other camp, it's like you have people that are saying, oh, the graphics looks very bland, and or maybe they're saying, oh, well, yeah, it's not a huge graphical leap forward, this and that, yada, 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 whatever. So Sony's looking at this like, we got to do something. I mean, obviously, we still going to have Call of Duty, right? But obviously, we know how the whole Call of Duty debacle is unfolding right in front of our eyes, the ABK deal and how that's going. So we need to invest more into live service games. And like I said, you have to make sure those why it's cheaper for you to make these live service games. I mean, look at Deviation Games, $50 million apparently to build that game, right? Well, turns out that game got canceled, right? So these live service games are cheaper to make. Hence why we heard the things that we were hearing about Factions 2. Case in point, Factions 2, Naughty Dog apparently is struggling to turn this game into a live service game. I mean, I guess that's not their expertise, rightfully so, because they're known to make single player stuff versus multiplayer stuff. And Bungie, you know, have experience in that field when it comes to making good live service stuff. I mean, Destiny 2 is a prime example of that. And so maybe that's where the whole scaling back type thing is coming. Let's reevaluate some things here. Let's try to find a way to properly monetize Factions 2 in a way where it generates a lot of money for Sony so that Sony can invest more into their single player games and more into their live service games, and everybody will be happy. The problem is that these live service games, they have to stick, because if they don't stick, and case in point, what we have seen during the PS5 Showcase, a bunch of CGI trailers, right? For a lot of their live service stuff. No real hardcore gameplay that's being shown. There's live service stuff that people were expecting to see at this PS5 Showcase in terms of gameplay, and that was not there. Okay? And that's why a lot of people are upset. Rightfully so. You have all right to be upset and mad, because it's like, at this point, bro, we're 3 years into the generation and there's really nothing groundbreaking, considering Sony is struggling when it comes to multiplayer. Like, Sony has no backbone right now when it comes to multiplayer games. And it's true. You need to have a strong presence when it comes to multiplayer. And how are you going to do that? Like, forget about Killzone at this point. I think Killzone is just dead in the water. Forget about SOCOM. Forget about Resistance and all those games, right? Sony is looking at a whole new different wave of multiplayer games. The problem is, are those multiplayer games are going to be strong enough to give the PS5 the strong backbone that it needs to be sustained when it comes to multiplayer games, right? Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest argument here. Sony has no multiplayer games, rightfully so. And so Sony knows that they have to have a strong footing when it comes to that arena, or else we're going to go back to the same thing. Single player taking and carrying Sony once again. It's a scary thought. It's a scary thought. And Sony knows that they got to be on their A game. Factions 2 got to be good. And it has to be monetary enough. I mean, Twisted Metal. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, guys. There's a lot of stuff on the table right now. And so Sony have a lot of work to do. I mean, we're 3 years in the generation, and a lot of people are saying, well, they're not impressed. I'm not impressed. And that's a problem, right? Because after looking at Spider-Man 2, for a lot of people, the majority, it's more of the same. So it's like, okay, you got to do something. Where are the newer IPs, the new IPs from scratch that you currently do have in development? Like, where is that? You know, that's where the big question mark is. Where are the new IPs? We get the sequels. People are okay for the sequels, but at the same time, people have high expectations for the sequels because these games are supposed to be developed from the ground up on PlayStation 5, right? So it's like, okay, Sony, what's going on here? Where's the new IPs? Where's the new IPs that you said like 2+ years ago that you're working on for PS5, and tons of remakes or reiterations of other games? Like, where's all that stuff at, right? I told you guys recently there was 41 projects if you count every single job listing posts on LinkedIn. Like, there's so many games that they have in development, right? So they do have the games. It's just Sony's not showing their full hand. And I think at this point, who cares about holding back? You need to show what you have. Show what you have in the barrel, because the PS5 is selling like crazy right now. And you need to answer back one way or the other so that the momentum keeps going, right? So that you can keep skyrocketing on an incline. Because if you don't show anything substantial, people that don't have a PS5 is not going to buy a PS5, because they're going to be like, okay, well, Spider-Man 2 is just not enough. I've seen a lot of people saying Spider-Man 2 is just not enough, Marlon. I'm sorry. They got to do better than just Spider-Man 2. Rightfully so. Can't just be just one game, right? Insomniac Games have been carrying PlayStation this generation. Obviously, they have other studios that's been putting out stuff, but Insomniac Games, they've been a workhorse studio. I mean, they put out, Miles Morales. They did the Spider-Man 2018 remaster, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man 2 now for this year. I mean, they've been pushing out stuff, carrying Sony, right? And so at this point, it's like, man, what else? What is Sony's going to be doing now moving forward? That's the $1 million question. That's why a lot of people are questioning Sony and questioning Jim Ryan's leadership right now, because they're like scratching their heads like, Sony, you're doing so well right now. You said in your financial earnings call that the PS5 is the strongest console in terms of growth. Well, how are you going to continue that growth? What are you going to do to continue that growth? That is the $1 million question. After that PS5 showcase, well, what kind of growth you're going to continue to have? Because people are like, Sony is known for their single player games. Listen, I get the games as a service approach, right? I get games coming to PC and mobile and cloud and all this type of stuff, with Sony said that they are going to have a much more aggressive push when it comes to the cloud and mobile. Project Q, prime example. Obviously that's in the remote play arena, but still, right? Like you see them making different shifts and doing different investments and things of that nature, doing these TV show iterations of these games, right? And or should I say adaptations, right? Of these video games, and turning them into TV shows and movies and things of that nature to try to make additional money so that they can invest more into their first party studios, right? So that we in return can get better and higher quality games. And rightfully so. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but you also have to stay to the core of what makes PlayStation, right? Still put out your high quality $70 premium single player games. And then on the flip side, make sure you are building a solid catalog of single player games, right? Not only that, but also the multiplayer stuff, because I think that's where a lot of people are kind of struggling with, like, okay, where are the good solid multiplayer games at? Like, that's what I really want to see. Let me get to a couple of these. Bone Slave, thank you for the $5. Says, out of the 10 gas games, at least one would stick and recoup potential losses from the other 9. King Mo, been a member for 18 months. Basically says, big love, champ. It says it's an honor to support. It's an honor to support in UG. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, all that good stuff. All right. So let's get to the actual news, because we have a lot to go over and discuss today. I just wanted to get that off my chest per se, because Sony is changing the wheel at this point. They're doing things different, right? They're investing more into live service than their traditional games. We're just going to have to see how that pans out, right? And how these live service games are going to stick and resonate with people. If it's not something that people can play and enjoy and have a good time, forget about the monetary side of it. If it's not solid, people are not going to fool with it. You know, and a lot of the stuff that they showed off live service wise inside of the PS5 Showcase, people are just scratching their heads like, okay, no gameplay, nothing to go off of, right? Nothing of substance. That's a problem. So a second PS5 Showcase showing off first party, maybe some more live service stuff with gameplay would kind of help people understand what the roadmap is for PlayStation moving forward. Do we need to go back to the drawing board? I mean, what do we need to do here, right? Because people are getting tired of waiting. I mean, we've been waiting over 600 days at this point, and rightfully so. You have all right to complain. Nobody is saying, okay, you shouldn't complain or question the leadership of PlayStation or question why should I keep a PS5? Rightfully so. I mean, I would question it too. Like after that output of what we've gotten from that PS5 Showcase, I would question it. Like, Sony, are you really, really losing it now? Or you're just holding back because Microsoft ain't giving you no competition, or what's going on? So, I mean, that question is always going to be there when you see your favorite platform holder underperforms. Like, I mean, it's just common sense at this point. So, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot on the table right now. And Sony got to make sure that, fair games stick. They got to make sure that Haven Studios fair games stick. They got to make sure that Fire Sprite AAA multiplayer games stick. Like, they got to make sure these game as a service stick. That's the thing. They're cheaper to make and to develop, but they have to stick. Because if they don't stick, then that's a problem. And not only that, but we have another studio, which is PlayStation Visual Arts, right? They have another massive layoff, right? I mean, we heard about Deviation Games and what's going on with them, and Pixel Opus, the situation with that. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of layoffs and a lot of structural changes. And people are saying, well, maybe because Sony is so obsessed with quality that if they look at a game that's currently in develop in terms of first party or in terms of partnership, they question it like, well, maybe, man, this don't look good, or this is not up to our standards, so we're just going to scrap this. Or maybe they might, ask, another studio that knows outside studio, or maybe a third party studio, or whatever the case may be, right? For opinions on certain games or whatever the case may be in terms of this major push for live service. So it's like, it's a crazy world that we live in right now in gaming. Like, it's just not the same. It's really not the same. I mean, games that are being announced that people are looking forward to, we can't get to see, only to find out, oh, it's on the brink of getting canceled, or it's being reevaluated, or whatever. It's just disappointment after disappointment, right? And it's like, okay, why even announce this game in the first place? Why even give us an announcement in the first place? I'm just saying. So there's that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and we got a lot to talk about, man. We have a lot to go over in the land of PlayStation. It's just crazy at this point, man. It's crazy. I mean, if I were you guys, I would be scratching my head too. Like, Sony, what are you going to be doing about that PS5 Showcase? Because after that PS5 Showcase, that just can't be it. So let's go over the whole notion of PlayStation ain't got no games and people just being disappointed and all that type of stuff, right? PlayStation has no games. That's what's being said right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Do me a favor, guys. If you are enjoying the show so far, hit that like button, hit that share button. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe if you're brand new. Okay, so the talk that's happening right now is that Sony ain't got no games outside of Spider-Man 2 in terms of first party. Obviously, we have Helldivers 2. which is coming out this year. And it looks very, very exciting. And I think a lot of people will say they want to give it a shot. We have Spider-Man 2. I mean, obviously fall 2023 at this point. So let's just say, for argument's sake, it is still happening this year. Now we have Final Fantasy 16. That's coming out, but that's not first party, right? Okay. What else? I mean, let's be real. What else is there? What else is there? I mean, where is that other game that's supposedly supposed to be dropping this year, that unannounced PS5 game? We haven't seen it, right? So people are like, man, is Sony really just going to just drop Spider-Man 2 and that's it? That's just not good, right? That's really not good. You sit down and you think about it. Spider-Man 2, that's it? From your first party studios? That's it? Like, it has to be more than just Spider-Man 2. Yeah. I mean, right now, again, if you're a customer that is looking forward to PlayStation, right, or looking forward to something groundbreaking from PlayStation in 2023, considering how, 2023 was just so hyped up, right, to just be the year of games, like massive games from Sony and Microsoft and this and that, right? But besides Spider-Man 2 first party, you have nothing else. That's the reality, guys. What else is coming out in 2023 that we have seen so far besides Spider-Man 2 from their first party studio? Nothing. Nothing. And that's a problem. Right? I mean, what we have gotten this year so far: Horizon, Burning Shores DLC. Okay. And then now we're getting Spider-Man 2. I mean, we have, like I said, we have Final Fantasy 16. We have Helldivers 2. Right? But what else do we have? I mean, what else do we have? Nothing from their first party studio. Nothing. So where is Stellar Blade? Like, where is, I mean, there's so many games. There's so many games that did not make the showcase. Right? Okay. So there's that. Now, let's dig into the reason why a lot of people are upset about what's going on with PlayStation right now. And why is it that, Sony is shifting more towards live service stuff? Like, they're trying to push as much live service stuff, which they've already said that they have 11 games by now until 2026 to drop. Problem is, maybe only 2 or 3 of those games are going to be great, right? And then the rest of them is just kind of like, ain't even worth it at this point, right? Ain't even worth it. Okay, so let's take a look at this right quick, all right? Let's take a look at this. Make sure you guys like the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. And, you look at this article here, man, and you kind of scratch your head a little bit and you sit down and you think and you're like, wait a minute, like, well, rightfully so. I mean, it's the truth. So you look at this. PlayStation Showcase has destroyed my faith in Sony and the PS5. And this is written up, obviously, by Game Central, right? I mean, you look at this. You look at this headline, and basically they're going over the future of PlayStation and the PS5. And after that PS5 showcase, Sony basically gave us wasted over an hour of a mixture of different things that we already knew about already. And then they said that they found themselves agreeing with basically GC's review of the showcase and the idea that Sony was basically given into the worst impulses. Like, you look at this, guys, and you read this entire article, and it's like, okay, you look at all the 60-second pre-rendered clips of a bunch of online shooters, right? And especially when they're like probably all microtransaction filled, live service trash. Even Spider-Man 2 footage was kind of disappointing. Again, some people are saying that they were disappointed with Spider-Man 2, right? I mean, people was just raging and going on and on about Spider-Man 2 and basically saying that it doesn't look next generation, blah, 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 all this type of stuff, right? Now, obviously, down at the bottom here, it says some of the indie games look good, but not only did they have nothing to do with Sony and were also on Xbox, but a lot of them had been previously announced. There was just nothing to get excited or surprised about. Instead of a mic drop at the end, they had Spider-Man 2, which rightfully so, everybody was expecting Spider-Man 2 to be there, right? And they didn't have The Last of Us multiplayer at all. Frankly, I just want to get that out the way so Naughty Dog can go on with a proper game, right? So you see what I'm saying? The irritation here about the live service, model here, that it's annoying, right? It's annoying. Like, some people are looking at this like, man, in terms of this writer here on this article, listen, Naughty Dog needs to get back to what Naughty Dog does best, right? And is to make top-notch, high production, AAA quality single player games. They're not known for their multiplayer stuff, right? I mean, obviously we had factions, but the original factions for The Last of Us, but beyond that, like, they're known for their single player stuff, right? So this person is saying, like, listen, bro, hurry up and get this live service bullcrap out the way so that Naughty Dog can get back to what they do best. And obviously they're talking about working on a single player game, right? So you read this article and everything from top to bottom, it's like, where is Sony Games? They have no games outside of Spider-Man 2. They have nothing from their first party. Yes, we understand Final Fantasy 16. We understand Helldivers 2, right? But beyond those games, in terms of first party, you have nothing. Nothing. There's nothing else. And people already having mixed feelings about Spider-Man 2. I mean, I can't tell you what to like when it comes to Spider-Man 2. I mean, a lot of us are grown people here. You look at Spider-Man 2, which we're going to go over Spider-Man 2 in Spider-Man 2's topic section, but you look at Spider-Man 2. I mean, you see the improvements in terms of the gameplay, right? Peter with the symbiote suit and things of that nature. I mean, you see how much faster Miles and Peter is traversing through the city, and having the web wing and things of that nature and traversing throughout. You can see the speed. People are comparing it to the Epic Games showcase that we had when it comes to the PS5, where that chick was just flying at the end. And people are saying, wait a minute, we're starting to see that now. We're starting to see that now potentially with the PlayStation 5, with the speed of the SSD, and Spider-Man 2 is much more larger in scale compared to a Ratchet and Clank or compared to a game like God of War, right? Which are much more linear games, but Spider-Man 2 is more spread out. It's an open world game, and the game is fun. The game looks fun. It looks more fun this time around. Versus, obviously, some of the mechanics is the same, right? I mean, it's a sequel. It's not a new IP, right? But, I mean, you can't make people love Spider-Man 2 if they don't. If you don't want to play the game, then just don't play the game. My thing was, hey, they need to polish the game, right? Because me looking at it, I was like, man, yeah, there's certain areas that looks amazing, and there's certain areas that just kind of like, and obviously we learned that there was some pop-ins here and there. The game is still in development, right? They're still polishing it up, hence why we didn't get a release date. And I think that's Sony's way of just trying to be cautious with this and be like, we don't want to give a release date right now. We need more time with the game to polish up the game, and then we'll give a release date. Because here's the problem. If Sony would have came out and give us a release date for Spider-Man 2 at the showcase, and let's say Insomniac Games needed more time to polish and cook and get the game ready, people are going to be mad. You see what I'm saying? Because they're going to be like, man, we've been waiting for Spider-Man 2 for years and blah, 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 and this and that, you know, and now they delayed the game. What the heck, Sony? What the heck? You see what I'm saying? It's like, one part of me is like, oh, man, we didn't get a release date during the PS5 showcase, right? Like, what the freaking heck, Sony? We didn't get a release date at the PS5 showcase when you had millions of people watching. But on the other side of me is like, okay, remember what Neil Druckmann said? Like, they want to alleviate a lot of the pressure off their developers and not give a release date so soon, because it's just going to put too much pressure on the developers to try to rush and to put the game out there. I mean, this year has been a big letdown so far in terms of quality for these games, right? Look at Gollum. Gollum, $60 for Gollum. That game is worse than, I think that game is worse than Redfall at this point. I mean, from a gameplay mechanics point of view, the mechanics is just terrible. Gollum is just terrible, right? Graphics, you know what I mean? Terrible. Like, it's just like, why? Who is this game for? Even if you're a Lord of the Rings fanatic, like, who is this game really for? I think IGN gave it something like a 4 out of 10 or something like that. And then obviously we had Redfall, right, which did not meet expectations. Like, then we had Jedi Survivor, a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches in terms of in the performance mode, things of that nature. Like, it's been a lot of letdown. So it's like, do we want more experiences like the Redfalls of the world, like the Golems of the world, you know, like the Jedi Survivors of the world in terms of performance and issue? No game is perfect by any means. There's always going to be some type of issue, but Sony is known for quality. And if you are a platform holder that is somehow, some type of way, have major name and your footprint in the sand over 20 years when it comes to quality, you need to uphold that. You cannot afford to put out garbage. You cannot afford to have the quality of your games just looking any type of way. If Spider-Man 2 was to come out the way how it looked, I'm telling you, at the PS5 showcase, like the footage, obviously, we're going to go over it because it was confirmed that that was an older build of the game. If you look at the PlayStation blog and match it up with the footage that we have seen during the PS5 showcase, it's almost, I wouldn't say night and day, but it definitely looks better on the PlayStation blog, like what they are showing on the PlayStation blog compared to the footage that was shown during the PS5 showcase. But you can definitely see the difference there. Things look more sharp or more real and things of that nature. And that's the version of the game that we're going to get. We're obviously going to get the better version of the game, but that's Spider-Man 2. But at the same time, it's like, okay, Sony, what's going on with Factions 2 at this point? Right? Like, we've been waiting, 4+ years for Factions 2 and nothing. And so a lot of people got pissed off. Like, okay, we're reevaluating this game. We want to scale back because maybe this game was just way too ambitious, right? And Bungie coming in and basically saying, nah, y'all ain't gonna really make no money off of this with the way how the game is right now. So we need to kind of scale back on some things here and try to separate the team, have a separate team working on this multiplayer, not multiplayer, but this single player game that Naughty Dog put out in their, statement when they were talking about they need more time and this and that for Factions 2, like split up the team. And then we have a designated team that really can cater to the microtransaction side of things or games as a service per se, right? So that we can infuse that in Factions 2. And here's the thing with the whole Factions 2 situation. Like, don't think that Factions 2 is going to be like Destiny. It's not. It's just, this is not going to be no Destiny type of roadmap. You know what I mean? Where it's a 10-year type of thing going on. And that's not going to be the case. That's just not how Factions 2 is being designed in the first place. If you look at the original Factions, like, no, it ain't no 10-year roadmap type of stuff to begin with. So it's safe to say that that is Sony's massive push and moving forward is live service. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at this chart. And then we have some other things that we need to go over and discuss. So if you guys are enjoying the show so far, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe if you're brand new. Let's keep it gaming. Let's go. All right. Let me move myself out the way here. As you guys can see, live services. All right. Investment to capture category growth. Now, if you look on the right side right here, PS5 investment by business model. What does it say right here? You see that blue dot down at the bottom, right? What is that? Live service. What does that say? 60%. So you're seeing a 60-40 split right here between traditional, right, and live service. So that means that they're going to be investing more into live service than traditional. And obviously on the left side, you could see gaming industry add-on continues to represent growth opportunity. Look at that. What does it say right there? That's circled. Add-on content. Add-on content. Right? So you can see where Sony is heading, the direction. And if you look at FY19, FY 2023, which it was a 55% to 45%, right? I mean, live service is still higher than the traditional, right? And so you look at that, and not only that too, but I also wanted to touch upon this, which they had their investor meeting here, and look at this growth. As you guys can see, like the PS5 in terms of growth is the biggest ever, right? It's the biggest ever in terms of all the other consoles that they had. PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1. So Sony knows this. Number 2 on the chart, God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us. All these are single player games. You know, Spiderman. You know, obviously the only difference is MLB The Show, but you have Uncharted and then you have Destiny as well, right? And they talked about, you know, Sony Group collaboration with, you know, their movies, iterations and things of that nature and their TV segment. But how are you going to continue to have growth, right? How are you going to continue to have growth? Now, here's the thing. Listen, you're going to get your sequels. Now, granted, everybody wants Days Gone 2, things of that nature. Certain people want certain sequels to happen or certain games to come back. How are you as a business, how are you going to receive growth? Are you going to keep on doing sequels until people get tired of them? Or are you going to switch the gears up a bit and say, you know what, we got to take a risk? You know, because as a business, you got to take a risk, bro. If you don't take the risk, you don't have the bigger rewards, right? You have to take the big risk in order to get the bigger rewards. I mean, you got to gamble at some point in time. People are getting tired of the same thing over and over. When you hear people talk about Sony games, oh, it's more of the same. Oh, it's one and done. They're single player games, blah, 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 right? Nothing of substance, right? So it's Sony looking at this like, okay, they do another sequel and it don't sell as well. It don't perform as well because it's more of the same. Same thing what people are saying about Spider-Man 2, which Spider-Man 2 is going to sell like crazy because it's Spider-Man. I mean, people are whining and complaining about this and having Spider-Man 2 under a microscope. Oh, look at this polygon right here. It's not high res and look at this and look at that. You know, people are just looking at Spider-Man 2 like under a huge microscope. Like it's just like everything just needs to look next gen. Like, guys, this is not a new game. I said that the game needs more polish, but I'm not going into this expecting this to be a new IP. Now, granted, we have heard that the game was supposed to be CGI and all this in terms of gameplay, Spider-Man 2 does not look CGI at all. It looks good, but it ain't no CGI level of gameplay like the rumors were saying. Now, moving back on course here, it's like, what are you going to do as Sony? What are you going to do as Jim Ryan? Because Jim Ryan, his goal is to make Sony more money, right? I mean, that's really all it really is. Make sure that the PlayStation brand stays afloat and make sure that there's huge growth in their subscription service, in their hardware segment and software segment, right? And make sure that they're doing everything correctly as much as they possibly can. So they're looking at it like, okay, instead of us taking all this big budget and investing it into sequels or investing it into, new IPs, let's also look at the live service stuff. But like I told you guys earlier, like that's a big risk because some of these live service games are probably going to suck. And whether it's 50 million or 60 million versus spending 200 million, it's still going to be a net loss. You're still going to be losing money regardless. You're probably just not going to lose as much in terms of return on investment. But it's just like Sony got a lot of work to do in terms of multiplayer. I mean, right now I'm disappointed in terms of multiplayer. Like people are waiting for Factions 2. That is supposed to be the game that people can be like, all right, Sony, this is okay for right now. Factions 2 is okay for right now until you give us some solid multiplayer stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, the CD Projekt Red bullcrap rumor that was going around, which got debunked, by the way. That's why I didn't even waste my time reporting on it, because nobody really knows who Sony is going to acquire or anything like that. That's more internal than anything else. And even at that, come on, most of these acquiring rumors or acquisition rumors is just lies, right? Lies. I mean, most of the stuff from Sony in terms of rumors be lies most of the time. Now, I could kind of see where CD Projekt Red could kind of fit in with Sony, but on the grand scheme of things, it's like, come on. Like, if you look at the stuff that CD Projekt Red put out, like Sony could use those type of games, right, to go up against Microsoft and what Microsoft have. They have Bethesda, they have Elder Scrolls. I mean, they have so much stuff, right, that they have that Sony don't have. And so I can kind of see where a game similar to Cyberpunk would fall into place, or a game like Witcher 3, more Witcher 3 like games that are exclusive, right, from a first party standpoint. But hear me out. We could see how that could work for Sony. But that is not the case, because we already had somebody from CD Projekt Red that came out and be like, nope, not happening. Right? So that got debunked. That got squashed. Now we're going back to the drawing board with everything that we know about so far. So it's kind of like, okay, Sony, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do moving forward now to keep players interested and excited and engaged and all this type of stuff? What are you going to do besides the single player stuff? And some people would say, well, Sony just don't have the talent to make a Call of Duty killer or whatever the case may be. I still do believe Sony got the talent to do something. It just matters on the monetary side of things. Hence why we had the discussion about Factions 2, right? Being a game as a service. Like, they have to find a way to make it monetary so that they can make money off of it. And it's not even just about the money. It's about how strong is this live service game going to be to keep people coming back for more. That's the thing, because people get pissed off and turned off when a game got way too much microtransactions. It's going to turn them off and they're going to be like, next, and you have to find the perfect balance, because now it's like, okay, you're tipping the scale where money and greed is more important than your player base, than keeping your fan base engaged and keeping them coming back for more. So Sony has to find a way to balance that and keep it on the same balance scale in terms of live service, right? You got to make sure that the game is AAA, high production, staying true to what the game should be about, and keep that perfect balance when it comes to the money part of it. Because if it's all about money and less about the actual game, well, that's dead in the water. That's the problem, guys, that we're running into right now. And Sony, I'm serious. I promise on everything I love. Sony got to find a way to have a strong backbone. They have to. I get it that they were crying over Call of Duty, but you can't cry over spoiled grapes at this point. Like, it is what it is. We know Call of Duty will continue to be remaining on PlayStation, but you got to have something outside of Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, the numbers are falling off every year. Every year the numbers are falling off, because guess what? You play COD for about 2 or 3 months, and then it gets old, it gets stale, and then it's like, oh, next. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Look at the numbers. The numbers are falling off. You know what I'm saying? Look at Vanguard. And then look at what we got with MW2. Like, guys, this is the reality. This is the reality, right? So you people are just getting tired of the same thing over and over and over and over again, which we heard from Herman Hulse. Oh yeah, dog. Our live service games are going to be different than the typical Destiny and the Fortnites of the world. You got a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do. Because Marathon, I mean, for some people, they're saying that Marathon looks promising, right? Well, you can play it at Marathon on Xbox. I mean, Sony's still going to be making bread off of that, right? But Marathon, for some reason, got it as a hit for some people, even though they haven't even seen gameplay for it yet. I mean, we have Concord and things of that nature. Like, there's so many games as a service. You have fair games. Like, these games better knock it out the park, or else people are going to be very, very upset. You see what I'm saying? So, guys, we have to look at this, man, from a different lens. And Sony is going to be held accountable if these live service games are garbage, if they're not good. I mean, what's going to happen with Twisted Metal? Twisted Metal be... Now, listen to this. Twisted Metal be having this, right? Obviously, we have the TV show coming out, right? People are waiting on the game. People thought that was going to be at the PS5 Showcase. For all we know, maybe that was a game that was ready to be shown that was not at the PlayStation Showcase, right? The PS5 Showcase. It's a lot of questions up in the air, guys. It's a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions up in the air at this point. And that's probably why a lot of people are saying Sony ain't got no games. They have nothing. Nothing special, nothing unique, because they don't. If you don't show nothing, then people are going to assume that you don't have anything to show, right? And you're investing so much more into live service stuff, which half the stuff that you showed at the showcase was underwhelming because we didn't get any gameplay. Let's move on. All right. So here's where we turn things up a bit. And this is crazy. I mean, you can't make this up. What I'm about to say, stuff is about to get real right now. Second PS5 Showcase. Make sure you guys like the stream, share the stream, all that good stuff. It definitely does help us out on the daily, Monday through Friday, to keep on doing what we do here for you guys full time. So if you guys do like the show and you like what I have to say, hit the like button for me. Let's see if we could crush the likes. Subscribe. Okay. So on the cusp of talking about the second PS5 Showcase, because rightfully so, there shouldn't be a second PS5 Showcase. If Sony would have just showed everything that they had ready, right? Now, a lot of people is like, well, after that lackluster, underwhelming PS5 Showcase, Sony got to redeem themselves, because it ain't looking too good for Sony right now, right? We heard from Tom Henderson that, you know, he saw trailers and this and that, or whatever the case may be. Sony got games ready to go. The games from their first party studios are done. And we heard prior to us getting the PS5 Showcase announcement that PS Studios are ready, right? They're ready. They're excited. And they got all these games. did not translate to that PS5 showcase that we got, right? PS Studios are ready to show. They're excited. They can't wait for us to see all these games. What happened to all of that, right? The snitch basically saying what he was saying, that, Sony got some AAA PC port or something like that. That's supposed to be announced, something like that in July or whatever the case. It's just like stuff is just not adding up. It's like if PS Studios are ready, right, to show us what they have been working on for 3 years, 2 years, whatever the case may be, rightfully so, people want to see the games. I mean, we get on Microsoft about the same thing, right? We get on Microsoft and we say, hey, Microsoft, what the heck are you doing? You're focusing too much on this ABK deal. What's going on with your first party output? Last year, you asked for an apology because you had 0 first party games, right? Then you come into this year and Redfall was underwhelming. Not a great game, very lackluster. So we're back to 0. So the same thing we get on Microsoft about in terms of their first party. That's why, you see what I'm saying? Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. This is why I don't have time for the fanboy nonsense. This is why I keep it real with y'all. I tell y'all, if y'all want the real, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. You saw what I did after that PS5 showcase. Boy, I went in stream after stream. I called Sony out. I kept the same energy. A lot of people did not keep that same energy because they were sitting there defending Sony. Nah, dog, there's no defending. Oh, Sony was holding back. I'm not trying to hear that. After almost 2 years of silence, are you kidding me? And y'all gonna sit there and defend Sony? Oh, Sony, Lord Sony. When Jim Ryan is sitting on the phone, and he's like, hey, how you doing here? Yeah, this is Jim Ryan. Listen here. We need an influx of third-party games, okay? And we're going to hold back on our first-party games. Listen, just do what I tell you to do. Get with the VFX guy and change things into motion. Listen, we have a lot of things ready from our first-party studios, but we're not going to be showing that at this PS5 showcase. Listen, I understand. Bloody listen to me, yeah? We're not going to be showing a lot of stuff at this PS5 showcase. What we need to do is show a lot more third party, show a lot more CGI trailers. Okay? Are you deaf? That's what I'm saying. Show a lot of third party games and keep people on edge. I mean, they're going to be backlashing or whatever, but that's going to be fine. Do your job, man. So you look at this and you're like, what was going on in the mind of Jim Ryan at the PS5 showcase, right? In terms of the planning of the PS5 showcase. Like, okay, if you have all these games, right, from these PlayStation studios, first-party studios that was ready, and you're just showing a bunch of third-party stuff, okay, something is going on. It's either you were holding back or you didn't have anything to show. It's one out of the other, right? So here's another thing. And this is very, very disappointing. Sony's PlayStation Showcase was one of its most viewed events ever. My God. Did y'all hear what I just said? The PS5 Showcase was Sony's most viewed event ever, and Sony dropped the freaking ball. You see what I'm saying? This is a PS5 Showcase. This is not a state of play. This is a problem, guys. This was the most viewed event. Peak viewership of 2.6 million people. What in the world? You had over 2 million people that watched your showcase and you dropped the ball. That was your time to sit there and show people what these first party studio games are capable of, and shifting into phase 2 of the PS5, where we're leaving PS4 in the back and we're going forward with PS5 in terms of development. Man, you had almost 3 million people, 3 million in terms of viewership, and you dropped the freaking ball. Wow. That is pretty sad. That is pretty sad, right? Because people walk away from that showcase disappointed, right? And I said, if Sony's going to do anything groundbreaking, show off any new IPs or show off anything that's been in development for the past 3 years or whatever the case, or any sequels or anything, now is the time to show it. Strike the iron while it's hot. Ride the wave while it's continued to get higher and higher, because PS5s are selling at an alarm rate. Do you want everything to just go flatline and diminish for PS5, or do you want to keep riding the wave? That was your chance right there. When everybody and their mama and their uncle and sister and grandma and sister, whatever, right, was watching this PS5 showcase, everybody was tuning in because it was called a PlayStation Showcase, not a state of play. State of play don't even get as much views as a PlayStation Showcase. This was an E3-like event, and there was more third-party games than first-party. I mean, we got like 4 first-party studio games. That was it, right? And then half of them, we didn't get no release date. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck? We didn't get no gameplay. So it's like, what's going on with the future of PlayStation? That's why people are putting a big question mark on PlayStation. Like, Sony ain't got no freaking games. After that PS5 doggone showcase, I mean, showing Spider-Man 2, yay. Like, we know Spider-Man 2 was going to be in there, but imagine if there was no Spider-Man 2. Oh, my God. People would be rioting and going crazy right now. Rightfully so, because we've been waiting all this time. Now, let's go to the rumor report that we were hearing. So please do not get excited about these rumors. I'm not hyping this up by any means. But basically, we got 2 sources. Well, 3. So we got Kotaku basically saying that PlayStation and Nintendo will have an additional digital showcases this year, right? Now, that could be in the form of a state of play. We know Nintendo is going to have a direct this year, but the rumor is around now that Nintendo is going to have a direct soon. What Kotaku is saying, with Kotaku of all websites, now let's not get into the straws that break the camel's back for Kotaku in terms of credibility as a site, but they're still plugged into the industry. And that could be in the form of a state of play. My whole thing is this: Sony has to redeem themselves with another digital showcase. For real. Like, because we need to see what their first party studios have been working on. Right? So that's Kotaku. The second person on the list here is Colin Moriarty. Now, Colin Moriarty, he basically said that, well, he has sources basically saying the same thing, that there's going to be a second showcase, right? And third, Tom Henderson and the Snitch seen trailers that were supposed to be at the show but didn't turn up. So Tom Henderson and the Snitch saw trailers allegedly, apparently, with their own 2 eyes, and were pulled from the showcase, right? They weren't at the showcase, obviously, but they've seen them. They're ready to go. So if this is all true, then Sony should have a better PlayStation 5 showcase, or at least a state of play with their first party studio games. Something, right? Because right now, your PS5 is selling like crazy right now. You still have to give people a reason to buy a PlayStation 5. Can't just be Spider-Man 2. Can't just be Final Fantasy 16. Can't just be Helldivers 2, right? And maybe a few here and there PSVR 2 stuff. PSVR 2 right now, honestly, looking at the output of games that they showed for PSVR 2, if I was just brand new to PS5, I wouldn't buy PSVR 2 on the PS5. I'll be like, you know what? I'll wait until I really start seeing some games that really fully utilizes the PSVR 2, because what they showed for PSVR 2 was a joke. I mean, RE4 remake, like for VR, no freaking release date. What's the other game? What was that game? Other game that they showed off? Arizona Sunshine 2. Really? Like, I don't understand. Crossfire Squad, Synapse, PSVR 2. I mean, Beat Saber. Nothing groundbreaking. So it's like, as a brand new gamer looking in, it's like, okay, why should I buy a PS5 right now? Why should I buy a PS5? Like, granted, there are games that were released in the past 2+ years that you need to go and play. But let's just say if, you know, you don't care about Returnal, you don't care for Ratchet and Clank, you don't care for Demon Souls, you don't care for Miles Morales, you don't care for Horizon Forbidden West, you don't care about Last of Us Remake, you don't care about none of all of those things that they released before. You want something impressive enough for you to buy a PS5. And if Spider-Man 2 is not it, then you're waiting in the balance, right? And they're rightfully so. There are gamers out there that are just sitting on the fence like, okay, Sony, I'm still freaking waiting because that PS5 showcase was a dumpster fire. So I'm still waiting to see what you got. So it just makes logical sense. And with a reasonable situation, logical way of thinking that, well, you know, there's a PlayStation 5 showcase, a second one that's on the horizon. And I would hope that Sony would do that because, yeah, they have games. They do have games. I mean, we've been hearing from Herman Hulst since 2021 or in the late part of 2020 into 2021 that, man, we got over 25 games in development for PS5. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Half of them are remakes or whatever, and then the rest are new IPs. Where's all those games at, right? And obviously that number grew to over 40 plus games since then. So where's all those games at? That's been in development for a long time now. Where's all those games? If PS Studios, according to the rumors, were ready to show their games, where all those games are at. So you have to do a second showcase. If you really want the PS5 to be the apex predator console of this entire generation, then you got to do something, right? You got to drop the games, right? You got to really show us something, right? Keep us, you know, engaged and excited to keep our PS5s, right? Can't just be one game or two game here and there. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But think about what I just said. Now, let's move on. Now, here's the thing, man. We have to talk about Spider-Man 2. Since this is the big daddy, right? Shout out to BioShock. We're talking about the big daddy game, right? This is the biggest release of the year for Sony, as far as we know. This is the biggest release from their first-party studio. This is the only first-party studio game. The biggest one, right? The biggest game of the year. Right? The granddaddy of all games, Spider-Man 2. So let's talk about Spider-Man 2. Because here's the thing, man. We know that Spider-Man 2 is going to put up the numbers for Sony, but people want more than just Spider-Man 2. Rightfully so. I understand that. You want more than just Spider-Man 2. So let's show you guys something here. Now, it's over 9,000. It's funny because I saw this out on Twitter. Thank you so much for the super chat. This is coming from TCMF Games out on Twitter. He did point this out, and I was like, wow. So Insomniac Games community director confirms the gameplay bill is an old one. So the gameplay that we saw during the PS5 showcase was an old bill. Because I was looking at the gameplay, and I was like, man, this gameplay needs polish. Obviously, the game is still in development. That's all I said. I said the game looks so much more fun. I mean, the New York seems larger than before. I mean, there's gonna be so much more things to do in the city. You know, traversing is better, right? I mean, you can see the speed of Miles and the speed of Peter. and the transition between combat, from cutscene to combat and things of that nature, especially when, who was that? I think, was it Peter? He was just traveling through that train. That was amazing. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were parts of the game that looks amazing. I'm looking at it I'm like, man, this needs a little bit more polish in certain areas. But I mean, we already knew this already, that, hey, we've been hearing it, rumblings that this was an older build of the game. And the build that we're going to see is obviously going to be the final product. Just let them cook. And so, we have the community director here, and that is James Stevenson. Literally responded to somebody with a meme saying, laughs. No. Like, is that the final bill? Because somebody was asking, is that the final bill of the game? And he was like, no, of course not. It's not the final bill of the game. That's an old bill of the game. Now, what I'm about to show you guys can see here, right? If you look, right, this is what we got, right, during the PS5 Showcase. And this is on the PS blog. So clearly you can see the difference right there, right? You see how orangey the one at the bottom looks, how fuzzy it looks. Yeah, I mean, you can't see the vegetations on the wall at the bottom. You see that? You can barely see it at the bottom. And that's why when I was looking at it, everybody was calling me out. Oh, you this, oh, you that. Oh, you just hating on Sony, and oh, you just hating on Spider-Man. And no, because I said the game, needs more polishing. There's nothing wrong with saying that. That's all I said. And everybody was ready to blow me away, right? And that's just how some of these fanboys are. Now, if you look at the top, look at the lighting. You see that lighting beaming on Peter in the symbiote suit at the top, the PS blog? You can see the difference. You can see the vegetation's a lot clearer. It looks a lot more sharper, a lot more crisp. So the top part looks like the final build version of the game. So you could see, the draw distance, and everything is more in depth, and colors are more poppy and everything like that. Like, I mean, that's where we're at. And so that was confirmed, right? The footage that we saw, the gameplay that we saw, that was confirmed to be an old build. So by the time they give us a release date, by the time we see Spider-Man 2 again, it's going to look better. And that's good. And for those of you who are saying, oh, I don't like the game. It's more of the same. It's a sequel. So of course it's going to share the same mechanics. I see people's like, oh my God. The move sets are the same. And look how he dodges, and look how Peter dodged. Look how Miles dodge. And it's the same dodge mechanic. It's the same. Listen, it's a sequel. It's not a new IP. So if you're not happy with the game, people are literally looking at this game with a microscope, like picking apart every single thing that's wrong with this game. If you're not happy with the game, just don't buy the game. It's one thing to say, oh, it needs more polishing, or it's one thing to say, oh, I think they can improve this from a constructive criticism standpoint. But don't sit there and be like, oh, it's the same and this and that in terms of the gameplay. And it's just, no, it's not. There are some things that are changed here. They added a lot of stuff to the game to make it more enjoyable to play, and to make it even more fun for you to go around the city, going around the city a lot faster than usual. I mean, they added the wings and stuff like that, so you can what's it called, the wing, the web wing, or whatever the case may be, and the combat is a lot more faster, and even with Peter in the symbiote suit and things of that nature, there's a lot of really cool things going on there. So don't tell me that Spider-Man 2018, the core game, not the remaster. Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2018 looks better. What? Spider-Man 2018 looks better than Spider-Man 2 in terms of the base game? Now, some people are looking at the remaster and saying, oh yeah, well, the remaster looks better. Hey man, listen, by the time they finish polishing up this game, it's going to look better than the remaster. It's going to look better than Miles Morales. But when we saw that gameplay in the PS5 Showcase, yeah, it was looking like, oh man, wait a minute. Like, this ain't really that much different in terms of graphics wise, right? This is not not a big step up from Miles Morales or a big step up from the remaster or whatever the case may be, right? There you go. So people are just losing their marbles at this point. So there you have it. That's Spider-Man 2. Now, let's move on because we ain't done yet. Let's talk about another layoff. And people are questioning Sony at this point because they're like, wait, what's going on, bruh? Like, what's happening, Sony? We got another layoff. Okay? And we got to talk about this. We got to figure out, and this is a PlayStation studio. So people are questioning like, Sony, what the heck is happening at PlayStation right now? Like, if you go down the list of things that we've been hearing, obviously, Pixel Opus, they shut down. The Last of Us multiplayer has to be scaled back. I mean, they need more time, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? And then the game is going under reevaluation in terms of Bungie overseeing it in terms of live service. The game being sustainable as a live service game. Deviation Games title reportedly got canceled and massive layoff, over 90 developers there. And then Dream support ending. And then obviously we know that, Knights of the Old Republic, Couture in that space is apparently still in active development, but we haven't heard anything else from it besides it's still going on at this point. But now we have another studio, right, which is PlayStation Visual Arts. AAA multiplayer. Another multiplayer game. What is happening? It makes you, it's so frustrating to hear things like, it's like, what is happening right now? Is it a quality control issue going on? Is Sony going around looking at these AAA? You see what I'm saying? It's like more of the multiplayer stuff that's in question, in limbo right now. We don't know what's going on. I mean, same thing with Factions 2. It's kind of like, wait, what the heck? Like, so now we have another studio right now in limbo. Sony, some people are like, what the is going on, Sony? What's up with these AAA multiplayer games? You're supposed to be coming out guns blazing with your AAA multiplayer games. Now you have another PS studio again with some bull crap. I mean, more layoffs again. What? Well, you're not happy with the quality? I mean, what the game is too ambitious? I mean, what's happening? Toyota Coaster, thank you so much for the $10. I didn't see this. Marlon, what if Sony cannot really compete with COD? Then they can't. Then, I mean, they can try. At least freaking try. Right? Because you don't have enough money to buy COD as an IP. Right? So, but my whole thing is like, your studios are talented enough. You got Bungie. Bungie ain't like what they used to be. But you got Bungie, you got all these other, partnerships and things of that nature. You got all these other developers that used to work on Call of Duty and used to work on Halo from back in the day. Halo, not 343 Halo, but from back in the day. Halo 2 people and all this shenanigans we've been hearing, right? You got all these devs that, maybe got layoff and probably looking for another job and jumping on at PlayStation or whatever the case may be. Like, live service is Sony's main push right now. Whether you like it, yes or no. Single player games, like Herman Ho said, is still going to be there, still going to be the backbone of Sony. But the live service games are going to be a major push. Multiplayer games are going to be a major push. And to see stuff getting like laid off or canceled, or it's just it's frustrating. It really is. It's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Sony got to do something. They need to put out Factions 2 as soon as possible because it's not looking too good right now. You can't just rely on the traditional single player stuff to carry the console. People have been crying and screaming about multiplayer stuff. We need multiplayer on PlayStation. We need multiplayer on PS5. People are tired of Call of Duty. In truth and in fact, people are tired of COD. People need something else. I need another escape other than just COD, rightfully so. So now it says right here, PlayStation Visual Arts AAA multiplayer team hit with layoffs. So that puts the game up in limbo at this point, right? What's next now? It says PlayStation developers continue to be hit with layoffs. The latest round has impacted PlayStation Visual Arts, which was working on an unannounced AAA multiplayer game over the last month. Sony partners have reduced their headcounts due to the project reconstructing and at least one reported cancellation of a PS5 game. It's frustrating, dog. Over 9,000. Sony aiming for a younger generation. I don't know about all that, man. Yes, I understand that. Yes, rightfully so. But I don't know, guys. I'm being real with you guys, man. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, you know, Sucker Punch is supposed to be working on something multiplayer. Firewalk, you know, is supposed to be working on something multiplayer. I mean, Fire Sprite. I mean, all these studios, majority of your first party studios are working on multiplayer games. Look at the whole Deviation situation. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to be excited for their multiplayer stuff. I mean, it really is. You know, it's like, what do we have to look forward to in terms of multiplayer? Because now Factions 2 is in question, which rightfully so, we're going to go over that update for Factions 2, but I just don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you guys. You know, we just got to hang in there, I guess. We really got to hang in there. But if Sony really wants to be aggressive with these multiplayer AAA games, like stuff like this can't be happening, right? These massive layoffs, because all that's going to happen is either it's going to put the game on pause or I don't know. We probably ain't going to see it anytime soon type thing. I don't know, guys. I just don't know at this point. It's just nothing but disappointment at this point. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Do me a favor. Make sure you put the notification bell on all if you just subscribe. Tom, thank you so much for the $5. Says, is it possible that these trailers these insiders saw are games from these devs that are having their games canceled or reevaluated? It's possible. It's possible. And here is, and if it played, it's going to be a huge play, because you got me thinking, because it's like maybe the games that Sony had, like they were getting ready to show, maybe they were just like, you know what, we got to reevaluate some of these games. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they were ready and they were happy about them. Like, who knows, right? Because obviously the single player stuff, there's no question. They're going to show whatever single player stuff that they have, regardless of the fact. Like, we know that Sony is known for their single player stuff. So I'm not questioning if Tom Henderson or the Snitch saw some single player games for the PS5, whether it's new or sequels or remakes or whatever the case may be. That stuff is going to be okay. We're talking about the live service stuff, like the multiplayer stuff that we were promised. This big, huge roadmap for live service games, big, huge roadmap for AAA multiplayer games. What the F is going on with that stuff? Right? So maybe you're right, man. Maybe all that stuff needed to be reevaluated to the point where, oh, we're not going to show Factions 2. Case in point. We ain't going to show because from what I heard, Factions 2 was pulled at the last minute, guys. Apparently, it was set to be revealed at the PS5 Showcase, but was quickly pulled from the PS5 Showcase. Because, like, if they would have showed it and showed gameplay for it, they would have to live with that, right? And then it will go against Sony's plan for their long-term commitment for live service and making sure that it's monetary enough, making sure that they can continue to make money off of it and continue to do post content for the game and keep the game enticing and fresh in terms of the experience and the overall value of the game, not just doing some Halo Infinite type of roadmap, right? Where obviously that is in limbo, or maybe the success of Fortnite, or maybe the success of Destiny in terms of roadmap wise, and dropping all these season passes and dropping all this content and characters and this and that. Like you have to, especially if this is a part of Factions 2 is a part of Sony's roadmap when it comes to live service, games as a service. And Naughty Dog probably just don't know how to really make it monetary, hence why Bungie had to come in and sort of reevaluate the actual game. Now we have a massive layoff again on our hands on another multiplayer game. It sucks. What it's like, I don't know, guys. I just don't know. But let's So PlayStation Visual Arts layoffs may be linked to The Last of Us multiplayer. This is not good. According to a LinkedIn post published by former PS Visual Arts dev John Borba, the layoffs were due to a large pivot on the AAA multiplayer game. There was some restructuring, basically, right, within our studio, and I was among the people let go to support the new budgetary needs, he added. So they're just moving people around. They're just moving people around at this point, like, okay, but what's going on with this game? Like, I don't know, guys. I just don't freaking know, man. All right. Now, in October 2022, job listings revealed that PS Visual Arts was working on a mystery project with Naughty Dog. Last week, reports emerged that The Last of Us multiplayer game is being reevaluated and its team is being downsized. Now, Borba's LinkedIn post suggests that the project has... Listen. Now, here's the thing. Now, in terms of this game, it wasn't shelved, meaning that, it wasn't canceled or anything like that. But his statement came shortly after Naughty Dog stated that it will continue to work on The Last of Us multiplayer despite further delays. So it's quite possible that the AAA multiplayer game Borba is referring to is The Last of Us multiplayer. So again, this whole AAA multiplayer game that we were talking about in the beginning could basically be referred to as Factions 2. And they were just doing some so maybe this is the other side of the lens of what Naughty Dog was basically insinuating in terms of Factions 2 and what was going on with it being reevaluated and all this type of stuff, right? I know it's kind of confusing, but dang, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, just having faith in Sony when it comes to multiplayer right now is in shambles. Until we see some solid multiplayer stuff from Sony, AAA games, I don't know what to say. That's up in the air. We can always bank on Sony for single player, but at this point, multiplayer stuff is in shambles until we see it with our own two eyes, until you guys are impressed. Because you can X Killzone out of your head, X out Resistance out of your head, X out SOCOM out of your head. These are newer IPs that are turning into multiplayer games that is supposed to be sustainable over the next 5 to 10 years or whatever the roadmap is going to be. And with layoffs like this and them restructuring the teams and such, okay, what's going on here? Well, I mean, are we going to see this game anytime soon? Because you're moving people around. I mean, what is it? I mean, do you need to split up the team because you want them to focus on another project and then have a small amount focus on how to monetize the actual game? I don't know, because Sony don't communicate as much. They don't let us know what's going on the inside. It's like we're blind looking, trying to look in. Like we don't know. We don't know until Sony says something or until a developer comes out. Hence why we're going to talk about Factions 2. Now, nobody is really covering this. I don't know why, but on this channel, I'm trying my best to make sure that we cover every single thing and give our thoughts and opinions on it. So Factions 2, we have an update. We already know that Naughty Dog came out and said that they need more time to, work on the game, and they have a single player game that they're also working on as well. So we already know that. That was what, Friday they said that. So now we have these are developers, actual Naughty Dog developers coming out. I'm surprised nobody is even talking about this. So this is coming from Dom the Bomb out on Twitter. Now we have Wholesome Sammy P. This is a Naughty Dog developer, right? Now, basically, they were quote tweeting what Naughty Dog was saying about the Factions 2, situation. And Sammy P basically said, I can assure you it smells great in this kitchen. Basically insinuating that Factions 2 is okay. Yes, they need more time to basically polish the game and make that commitment and make sure that the game is ambitious and meet expectations. But Sammy P is one of the Naughty Dog devs coming out basically saying it smells good in the kitchen right now in terms of this game. There's nothing wrong with this game right now. It's not going to get canceled or anything like that. We just need time to cook. It's cooking. We also have Mule WN out on Twitter says, hope everything is okay with you. Let me see here. Hope everything is okay with you, your position and your multiplayer project. Everything. And then somebody, Paul Bishai, if I'm saying his last name correctly. This is also another person that is working on Factions 2. Everything is great. Thank you. Still working hard on multiplayer with a talented team. That's also another developer coming out basically, telling us, listen, Factions 2 is okay. Like, it's great. Things are looking up good. And before I listen to anybody else in the industry, I will listen to the horse's mouth in terms of this. The developers, the people who are spending years of their lives into this project and actually knows what's going on in terms of that. I mean, I heard what Jason Schreier said, but obviously the report from Jason Schreier kind of come off as like, the game is like canceled, kind of like, or whatever the case may be. I mean, obviously we didn't get these reports at first, but this is good to hear. And then we had another developer coming out. Dale Walker says, let us cook. So there you have it. There you have it. Maybe that might give you guys a little bit more faith in Factions 2. I hope it does. Because right now, when it comes to, PC ports, when it comes to their multiplayer side of things, I mean, all we do is hear about this multiplayer game, that multiplayer game, but we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen no raw gameplay. All we have gotten so far in terms of multiplayer is a bunch of CGI trailer, and that's not good enough. That can't sustain people at this point. No release date, no goal, no direction, nothing like that in terms of what the game is going to be about. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on. Project Q. Project Q. Now, this is going to be a focus for Sony moving forward, right? In terms of remote play, cloud, things of that nature, right? And Project Q, we did talk about this device. We talk about price. We talk about release date, things of that nature. Now, rumors is going around basically saying that the PS5 remote play handheld allegedly has just 4 hours of battery life. A lot of people are saying, well, man, listen, if this thing only has 4 hours of battery life, but look at the Steam Deck, though. The battery life on that ain't great. You know what I'm saying? Look at the DualSense. The battery life on that thing ain't great. You know what I'm saying? And this is like a wedged in tablet with the grips of the DualSense being wedged together, right?
It's over 9,000.
Thank you for the donation. Project Q, the new portable remote play device for PS5, will allegedly have 3 to 4 hours of battery life. That's according to Insider Gaming report penned by Tom Henderson, who was responsible for accurately leaking the existence of the device earlier this year. So Tom Henderson is saying 3 to 4. How do you guys feel about that? Now, while 3 to 4 hours isn't out and out disaster, especially considering the device is mostly intended to be used as a home on a local Wi-Fi connection. It does seem a little on the low side. Yeah. Because when you look at the device and you're like, okay, this tablet with two basically DualSense grips wedging together, everything, like people are at least expecting like on the Switch side of things, like the V2 Switch side of things in terms of battery. Because I think the V2 Switch is about 4.5 hours, close to 5, maybe 9 hours on the top end side, depending on what you're doing for the V2 Switch. So it's on the lower end side for sure. 3 hours, man, that's not a lot of time. That's not a 3 to 4 hours. That's not a lot of time for a handheld. It's not. And, you know, people would say, well, I mean, it seemed like it has the battery of the DualSense in there, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really, really don't know. It says, worth noting that the unit includes all of the haptic feedback and adaptive trigger technology of the DualSense, which is likely to be a big drain on the battery alongside that 8-inch screen. So yeah, you do have to factor in the fact that it has all the features and capabilities of the DualSense on top of that big 8-inch screen. So yeah, the battery life is not going to be great. It's not going to be great, right? Because all of that gimmicky trickery technology, some people will say it's a gimmick, right? In terms of the haptic feedback and the adaptive trigger technology, that's battery draining as it is with the standard DualSense and the DualSense Edge controller. And then you're going to wedge a big old 8-inch LCD screen in there. Of course, it's going to drain the battery. My question to you is, let me go ahead and get to these donations. My question to you is, are you going to be buying Project Q at 4 hours? 3 to 4 hours. Are you going to be buying Project Q? Are you going to buy Project Q with 4-hour battery life? All right. So that's the big takeaway here. Now, McShawn, thank you for the $10. Says, I think that's the whole problem of the situation right there with Sony. They're to focus on multi-plat exclusives more than they focus on their single-player exclusives, and fanboys aren't happy. There you go. Notch, boy with the $5 says, these showcases takes money to make. Why would Sony spend money on this show only to make another show in a few months? Doesn't make business sense. Yeah. I mean, I agree. And it don't make business sense for them just to show a bunch of third-party games and lesser on the first-party studio stuff. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they have so many first-party studios. I mean, they're still acquiring. They just acquired Firewalk, right? I mean, they have so many first-party stuff. That's what people really want to see. You know? That's what people really, really want to see. So, yeah, you're talking about, yeah, of course. It costs money to edit and to get everything constructed for these events. They do cost money. But hey, man, I'm going to say this. As a business, you got to do whatever you got to do to win the hearts of your customers. So yeah, while it might cost money for them to make a PS5 showcase, if the PS5 showcase is underwhelming and your customers are dissatisfied with what they have gotten, then who cares about how much money it costs to make the first one? You better go ahead and make a second one, because you want your customers to be happy. You want people to buy more of your products, your controllers, your sign up for your PlayStation subscription service and buy more digital goods and also microtransactions and your console and all that, the whole ecosystem. So if people are not happy with the PS5 showcase that you have given them, it's your job as a business, it's your job as a platform holder to host another show. I don't give a doggone if it costs $1 billion. I'm just being outlandish saying that. It don't cost $1 billion to do a showcase. I'm just throwing up numbers up there. Or it costs I don't know, 200,000, 300,000 to do a showcase. I don't know. We don't know the figures, but throwing numbers aside, who cares how much money it costs? You need to make your core fan base happy. PlayStation fans are in turmoil right now. PlayStation fans are mad right now. Like, Sony, what the F was that? You showed more third-party games that are going to be on other platforms than you do first-party. You're known for your first-party games, right? I mean, we're in the third year of the PS5. We're over 600 days, and all you did was show maybe 4 games from your first-party studios. One of them gameplay, and the rest of them a bunch of CGI trailers. Like, what the heck is going on? So you doggone right. If me sitting here now, I don't give a doggone about how much money it costs for them to do a PS5 showcase. You better make sure you do a PS5 showcase again, or do some type of digital event to showcase the roadmap on what's next, because right now it's dark. The tunnel is dark in terms of Sony's roadmap for their single player games. We've been hearing about this game and that game and this game and blah, blah. I mean, Sony even mentioned Wolverine in upcoming single player games in their roadmap, in their financial earnings call. I mean, obviously, granted, we wasn't really expecting to see Wolverine. I mean, it was a 50-50 ordeal, but still, people really wanted an idea after we got what we got for Wolverine, right? So we know about all these roadmaps of games. Like, I can go down the freaking list of games. I mean, Team Asobi. We supposed to see a AAA action game, 3D game from Team Asobi. Where is Team Asobi? Where is Ghost of Tsushima 2 at, right? I mean, Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch was supposed to be working on a multiplayer game. They were supposed to be working on Ghost of Tsushima 2. There was nothing there. Sony Santa Monica. Apparently, they're hiring for another God of War game. I mean, they're working on multiple stuff. What about that Cory Barlog game that's been in development for apparently 3 years at this point? It was not there. Little Devil Inside. That's another indie game that people wanted to see. Where the heck is that game at? We haven't seen much on that. Like, come on, man. Fire Sprite. Listen, man. Listen, bro. I'm sorry, but I can give 2 rats behind or about, oh yeah, dog, it costs a lot of money to do these showcases. We don't care. We don't care. We do not care. It's Sony's job. If that's the case, don't just stay out of business. You know what I'm saying? You got to take L's as a business, bro. You know, you got to make sacrifices, just like a YouTuber. Like, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the long hours. You got to stream 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? So that you can keep your fans informed and make sure everybody is happy. Who cares if you're tired? Who cares if you don't feel well? You still got to freaking go. Nobody cares. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing as a business. Like, bro, if you want to stay afloat, if you want to be relevant, you got to make sure, especially Sony, they know better. You got to continue to be at the freaking top. Nobody freaking cares. You see what I'm saying? About your bottom line. Only you as a business care about your bottom line. Sony, obviously, as a business, they care about their bottom line. And they're in business to make freaking money. Okay, so all the money that Sony has been making as of late off of their movie adaptations of their video games and live service stuff and microtransactions and PlayStation Plus and digital goods and sales and whatever the case may be, who cares? Sony got money in the bank. We just learned that they have, $8 billion-ish for their entertainment segment and things of that nature. Obviously, some of that money is for PlayStation as well. They're not done with acquisition. Who freaking gives a doggone? Listen, as a business, as an entity, you need to make sure you keep your audience happy. Without your audience, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got a darn thing. It's just like a movie producer, or it's like an artist, a music artist. Like, if you're not putting out good content, a good material, good music, it's going to show in the numbers. You see what I'm saying? Nobody is going to sit there and wait around. Oh, well, this was garbage. Okay, what are you going to do next? Who cares about studio time? And, I got to get back in the studio and I got to pay even more money to come harder. Well, you shouldn't put out garbage. You shouldn't make that album trash in the first place. You should have made sure you give it your all. Nah, you're too rich now. You're too freaking rich. You're so fat and greedy to the point where your stomach is so big and fat, right? It's so big and fat off of money, so you don't care no more. Remember the old saying, the hungrier you are, the better you output, the harder you work, right? Because you're hungry. So if you're hungry, you're gonna do whatever it takes to eat, right? Same thing with the music industry. Most artists, they don't even grind like they used to. They just put out garbage, all type of garbage music, because hey, I already make it, so I don't have to try as hard anymore. I can just slap two words together and that is it. Nah, dog, we don't give a dog. If you put out trash, well, don't expect nobody to buy it. Same thing with Sony. You got a garbage dumpster fire freaking showcase. Don't expect people to go out there. Hey, baby. Yes, babes. How you doing? Can you buy me a PS5? Well, babes, why should I buy you a PS5? Spiderman 2? Dang, babes, just one game? Nah, man. Nah, I'm not just gonna buy you a PS5 just because of one game. Like, no. No. Listen, bro. Listen. You got to, especially people have been waiting on Sony all this time. And what have we seen? What was so groundbreaking? Nothing. We haven't seen anything groundbreaking besides Spider-Man 2. Nothing. McShawn, thank you, says, if Xbox has a better showcase, yeah, they can get an edge. Man, I'm telling you, at this point, I mean, Microsoft ain't even got to try too hard. Microsoft ain't got to try too hard, bro. They ain't got to try too hard. Make sure y'all like the stream, share the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all. All right. Now, y'all said no. 82% of you guys said no on Project Q. Interesting. Let's move on. Man, this is crazy, bro. I told you guys. Look at all this stuff that was missing from the PS5 showcase. I told y'all there was how many games? 25 games. 25 freaking games missing from the PS5 showcase. Factions 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Death Stranding 2, Rise of the Ronin, Star Wars KOTOR, which we already know the situation with that. Silent Hill 2, people was pissed about not seeing Silent Hill 2. Deviation Games new IP, which we already know that's in limbo, that's canceled at this point. London Studio new multiplayer game. Marvel's Wolverine. Ben Studio new IP. Lost Soul Decide. Stellar Blade. Santa Monica new IP. Like Convaleria, right? Lil Devil's Inside. Lil Devil Inside there, right? Sucker Punch next game. Guerrilla Games Horizon multiplayer. We didn't even see that. That's been in development for a while now. We didn't even see that. Fire Sprite Twisted Metal. Pragmata. There's so many freaking games. Team Asobi's new game. There's so many freaking games that was missing from the freaking showcase. I just don't know, guys. I don't know what else to do, man. Sometimes I'm just like, bro, now look at this. Let's go over these. Let's go over this right here in terms of the PS5, in terms of performance and what's been happening there, right? Let's go. Now, PS5 hardware sales estimates for April. So this is coming from VGC. PS5 in the month of April, 1.3 million. 1.3 million. Switch, 1.2 million. Xbox Series, 372,000. Dang, boy. Compared to Switch and PS, you see why I say it's important for you to have games for people to play? See why I've been getting on Sony? Like, Sony, you have a huge momentum right now. People are buying PS5s. You need to start showing stuff. This was their opportunity at the PS5 Showcase to show a lot of their first-party stuff so that can get people into buying their console and getting people excited about the console even more. See what I'm saying? Look at Xbox Series. Look at Xbox Series. 372 units in April. Look at that compared to the Switch and the PS5. Yeah. Now y'all see what I'm talking about. It's very important, man. Hopefully that turns around for Microsoft at the Microsoft event, but I don't know, man. I don't know. And on top of that, Sony is confident that the PS5 can sell at least 108 million units in its lifespan. Obviously, those numbers are not going to beat PS4 because PS4 is at what, 117? So, or some 118, 117, somewhere around there in terms of lifetime sales. So clearly, I mean, at the rate that Jim Ryan is thinking in his head in terms of lifespan of the PS5, 108, that's not even quite close to what the PS4 did. So that's what I'm saying. Man, I don't care who want to get mad at me right now. Sony better start turning things into high gear. Because this is 3 years. We're 3 years in. This is the third year. This is where you need to strike the iron while it's hot and show the bigger games from your first party studios, right? To ride the wave even further and get more and more people interested and get more and more people buying PS5s. Like at the rate that things are looking right now, just Spider-Man 2, you got to do better than just Spider-Man 2 from your first party studio. You got to show us, another PS5 showcase soon and show us what your first party studios is working on. Yes, third party is a reason why a lot of people buy these consoles. It's the number one reason why a lot of people buy these consoles. Third party. It's a proven fact, right? But at the same time, why do first party games exist, right? You started out first party, right? So you need to uphold that. People are looking forward. There's a large amount of your fan base that are looking forward to your single player stuff. So in order for you to continue to ride that wave and continue for the PS5 to be the greatest console of all times in terms of growth and in terms of catalog of games, that's why I said, man, at the rate that Sony is going, you honestly think that it can touch the GOAT PS2? No. That was the golden age for Sony. PS5 will never touch the GOAT. I mean, if the lifespan, if Jim Ryan is saying 108 million, think about what I'm about to say. And some people, fanboy wise, are going to get pissed, but that's the reality. I don't care. Be pissed all you want. PS5 in terms of growth is outperforming every single PlayStation console right now in terms of sales, right? And in terms of lifetime, no. Obviously, we're just 3 years in. But it ain't going to outdo PS2. It's just not going to happen. Obviously, this is a different Sony. I'm being real. I'm going to have a heart-to-heart discussion with you guys now. Because that's it for the main part of the show. Then we're going to, after I say what I said, then we're going to go over into the Q&A. Let's have a heart-to-heart discussion. Sony's not going to outdo the PS2. It's just not going to happen. With the catalog of games that they had in the PS2 generation was God tier compared to what we're getting now. You're just not going to, I don't even think, honestly, man, PS2 was just ahead of its time. PS4, I mean, at the way how the PS5 is going right now, if we don't start seeing some groundbreaking stuff in terms of first party, second party, whatever the case may be, I don't know. I really don't think the PS5 is going to be able to outdo the PS4 in terms of lifetime or even PS2. It's just not going to happen. Like, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Again, same thing with Microsoft. Like, you're going to have to find a way to go back to that formula. That formula that worked for PS2, that formula that worked so great for those other consoles that they perform so well. And it's just, I don't know, man. Gaming is just very disappointing as of late. We're getting a bunch of garbage freaking third-party games, underperforming, quality ain't good. I don't know, man. Gaming is just not like what it used to be. I'm just being real, man. It's very disappointing, dog. It really is. It's like we sit here and we get hype And people are like, oh, you just had too much of a high expectations. Man, I ain't trying to hear that. Of course, you've been waiting for so friggin' long. You've been waiting for what, 2 years at this point? Of course, you're going to have high expectations because you expect them to deliver. You expect them to continue to be the market leader and hold their end of the bargain. I mean, y'all end up y'all end of the bargain by buying the, I don't want to cuss, by buying the freaking console, right? And signing up for their freaking subscription service and buying their digital games and goods and microtransactions, and you're into their ecosystem. So of course, what's wrong with having high expectations? Oh, maybe if you were to keep your expectation in check, then you wouldn't be so disappointed. I am not trying to hear that cliche bull crap. At the end of the day, we waited so friggin' long, almost 2 friggin' years at this point for a PS5 showcase. Don't let nobody tell you, oh, you shouldn't get hype and this and that. Now, after this garbage of a showcase, yeah, I'm not going to get so hype anymore. Like if they announce, hey, we're having a second PlayStation 5 showcase. Okay, dog, it is what it is. Let's see if you can blow me away. Like the PS5 showcase in 2020 or the PS5 showcase in 2021 was way freaking better than this garbage that you gave us in 2023. I mean, Sony, what the heck are you doing? Like, seriously. I mean, have you lost your mind? Have you lost your marbles? Like, this is not how you lead. This is not what the market leader is supposed to do. Like, you showing all these freaking CGI trailers and nobody want to see no CGI trailer. That's not what the game is going to freaking look like. And everybody is digging in on Spider-Man 2. Oh, we were told that it was going to look CGI. In terms of the game, that does not look CGI at all. Nothing remotely close. Let's be real, man. It's time out for the bull crap, the lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, at this doggone point, it's very freaking underwhelming. A lot of people is like, well, look at Spider-Man 2. We need a PS5 Pro. No, we do not. Stop talking about a PS5 doggone Pro. We don't need a PS5 Pro right now. We haven't really seen games fully utilizing the PS5. Well, Spider-Man 2 apparently is supposed to be that game that really pushes the PS5 once we see the final bill of the game, right? Once we see the final bill of the game, I mean, we already seen it with the speed of the game. I mean, the speed is insane. We've seen how Peter and Miles are traversing and how they use the GTA 5 mechanics, switching between characters. I mean, just sliding through different objects and stuff like that. No loading. I mean, we are seeing it. Some of the stuff that was during that Epic Games presentation, but in terms of this huge graphical leap that everybody was really expecting, we're not really seeing that as much. I mean, we've seen it with Ratchet and Clank, right? You know, we have seen it with Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores. Like we're starting to see it, but people want to see more of it, right? And you're talking about PS5 Pro. So PS5 Pro is going to automatically fix all the stuff that's going on right now. No, it's not. Y'all don't learn. We have the Series X right here, and we still, the only game that I could say that's probably going to fully utilize the Series X is Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2, maybe Starfield at this point, right? And we're probably going to see Forza Motorsport utilize the Series X. We need to see more of those from Microsoft. You see what I'm saying? I'm tired of people talking about these pro systems like it's the cure for cancer or something. Like, stop. Like, stop. Let's just stop focusing on these PS5 Pro bullcrap and Series X Pro. Man, we ain't trying to hear all that. We know it's coming, but if Sony should drop a PS5 Pro right now, is that going to fix everything? Is that really going to fix everything? Come on, guys. We need to see the full potential of these systems that we currently do have right now before we start talking about more powerful iterations of them. Like, seriously, this is what we do every generation. Oh, we need a much more powerful hardware. Then why come out with the hardware that you do have right now? Makes zero sense. Zero freaking sense. I'm tired of that bull crap. And Sony, they know better because Sony are kings when it comes to utilization of hardware. They're kings of that, right? So we know Spider-Man 2 is going to look better than what we saw. We know that. And Spider-Man 2 could very well be that game that when we see the final bill of the game polished up and looking amazing and ready to go, right? That could very well be that game that fully utilized the hardware. And that could be that turning point for a lot of people to say, okay, well, Okay, just like Ratchet and Clank. Here's another game that's very high quality next to Burning Shores. Here's another one, right? But 3 or 4 games in a console generation is not enough to fully utilize a console to its fullest potential, because there's more power. Remember, the One X didn't teach us anything. How Microsoft, prematurely deserted the One X and went off to the Series X console. Didn't that generation teach us anything? Come on, guys. Let's come on. What are we doing? Right? I mean, we see the best of the PS4 and the PS4 Pro when it comes to Last of Us, right? Come on, guys. For real, though. There's so much. What am I saying? What are you saying, Marlon? There's so much more that's left in the tank when it comes to the PS5. So much more. Sometimes I wonder, like, man, freaking PS4. Freaking PS4. Once again, like, people, that's why people are so upset, because they look at these games that's supposed to be PS5 only, and they're like, it looks just like freaking PS4. Man, PS4, because the thing is that a lot of these games were developed around the time of the PlayStation 4. When the PlayStation 4 was still in existence, right? So they were developing these games with PS4 in mind, and then shift development to PS5. People don't want that. People want games that are built from the ground up for PlayStation 5. That's why a lot of people are irritated. That's why everybody was so mad when they saw Spiderman 2. Like, oh, it looks like a PS4 game. And it don't look like no PS4 game. It just needs more polish. Now, looking at the PlayStation blog and looking what we got, it looks better. It looks like a PS5 game. Right? I mean, for them to put Spider-Man 2 on PS4, it wouldn't look nothing close to what we got. I mean, the city is bigger. I mean, it's a much more bigger city, more stuff to do. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, can it run on PS4? Yes, for sure. But not at the resolution and FPS that you guys may want. Maybe what, 720p? 720p, 30? You know what I'm saying? Or 720p, maybe 60? Who wants to play in 2023 720p at 60 FPS? Who wants to do that? Right? When we're supposed to be advanced and games are costing us $70. Come on, guys. We way past that. Right? People want to leave PS4. People are tired of PS4, rightfully so. We have gotten PS4 for 10 years and we still getting PS4 in this limelight right now. It's crazy. So it's almost as if, and then you hear people like, oh, people are just never satisfied. Listen, when you spend $500, when you spend your money, you have all right to I can't even speak right now. Critique. You have all right to critique something and say, you know what? I don't like this. This don't look good. Give constructive criticism, whatever the case may be. I don't like this. That's okay. You spend your money. So you can raise any concerns you want. If you're not happy, you're just not freaking happy. You see what I'm saying? Because you spend your money. So complain all you want. Because nobody paid $500 for you. You paid your $500 and you were expecting something a whole lot better than what you got the last generation. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But what's gonna be the talk when we see Ghost of Tsushima 2? I mean, what's gonna be the talk when we see what's other game on the list here? I mean, let's be real. Let's start talking about games, because what's gonna be the talk when we see let me see, which other game? Factions 2. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think some people are just not gonna be satisfied in general. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think Wolverine. What's gonna be the talk then with Wolverine? right? People are not going to probably be happy about that game. Like, oh man, I was expecting Wolverine. And here's the thing too. The theory is, oh, they're saving Wolverine for PS5 Pro. Maybe that could be a marketing game for PS5 Pro. But all we could do is imagine, right? All we could do is imagine how Wolverine is going to look, because we don't know how it's going to look. But who knows? Maybe people are going to be disappointed about that game too. I just don't know, guys. I don't know. What a shame. It's like technology is advancing every single day, and these games are just failing to meet expectations. Like, I don't know. I just don't know, man. Spider-Man 2, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wasn't expecting people to be that unhappy with the game. Like, when I saw Kraven for the first time, I was losing my marbles. I was losing it because I was like, man, that looks good. But then you start going through the world and stuff, and you start looking at certain objects and certain things, and you're like, this could use a little bit more polishing. Or the character models for hunters guys or whatever. Some people are like, these guys could use a little bit more polishing. Or the environment, the cars, the trees, the vegetation, things of that nature. Oh, that can use a little bit more polishing. Rightfully so. I mean, the game is still in development. That's an okay criticism. But to sit there and say, oh, no, the game looks like a PS3 game. Nah, come on, man. No, you're ridiculous. You're being ridiculous at this point. Spider-Man 2 does not look like a PS3 game. You know what I'm saying? Or it doesn't look like, it looks like the base 2018 game for Spider-Man. No, it looks better than Spider-Man 2018, the base Spider-Man 2018 game. It does. I don't know, man. And then you have some people are saying, well, Marlon, are we going to get anything groundbreaking on PS5 that really makes us lose it in terms of gameplay? Yes, I do believe so. But besides Ratchet, I'm telling you, Ratchet and Clank to this day is the best looking game on the PS5 and Burning Shores. I'm just, in terms of next generation only, yeah. And Spider-Man 2 once we see the final build. Like, everything else, I mean, you make your wild guesses. Demon Souls looks good, right? But Ratchet and Clank looks better. You know, let's go down the list. I mean, let's do it, right? Like, you look at the games. Returnal don't look half as good as Ratchet and Clank does. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks good, but it ain't no Ratchet and Clank. You look at Demon Souls remake. That's a remake, but it looks amazing on the PS5. I think that was a huge selling point for Sony with that remake, with that particular game, right? You look at Horizon Forbidden West as well. You could throw that in there too, but that's a cross-generation game, right? So a lot of Sony's cross-generation games, they look amazing. But if you're looking at it from a critical standpoint in terms of PS5 only exclusives or built from the ground up for PS5, The Last of Us remake, that's something else too. That looks amazing on the PS5. I don't know, man. But we'll see. We'll see. McShawn says, I think that the Xbox Showcase is going to be mid because the PlayStation Showcase was mid. So if Microsoft don't have a good showcase, then Sony won't show their hand. See this tit for tat bullcrap? Listen, I don't have time for that. I don't have this Mickey Mouse running around the house. You show me this first and then I'll show this after. Microsoft don't have a choice. Microsoft needs to go all out. Listen, Microsoft cannot afford to have a mid showcase. I'm sorry, they can't. They need to come out swinging because it's not looking too good for Xbox. Let's not talk about Xbox right now because it ain't looking too good for Xbox. Outside of this ABK deal, like they gotta show gameplay. They better not give us a freaking mid showcase like what Sony give us. Like, for real, I'm being dead serious. Microsoft, they corner is dark as midnight. right now. They need some light in they corner because it ain't looking too good for for Sony, it ain't looking too good. But Microsoft is worse because Microsoft haven't really given us anything groundbreaking this entire generation from their first party studios. Nothing. Halo is in shambles. Forza Horizon 5 has carried them, right? Let's be real. They haven't given us anything groundbreaking from their first party. Hellblade 2 looks amazing. Yay! Hellblade 2 looks amazing. I can't wait to see Hellblade 2. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait because that game is going to make me rip open that box. You see what I'm saying? Hellblade 2 looks amazing. Forza Motorsport looks amazing. If you saying otherwise, then you just, I don't know. Maybe you're just hating on Xbox or you don't like Xbox. But I keep the same energy, G. I give credit where credit's due. This is why I say, when you subscribe to my channel, I don't have time to be biased. I don't have time to sit here and be fake. I'm keeping the same energy. Sony does something great, I'm calling Sony out. You know what I'm saying? And be like, congrats, Sony. If Sony does something bad and they messing up or they effing up, like some of y'all would say they effing up, then guess what? I'm going to call them out. Sony, you need to do better. Keeping the same energy. When you look at Spider-Man 2 looks really good. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait to play it. Can't wait to pre-order it. Because I know Insomniac, I trust them. Yes, the gameplay build that they showed us did not really blow everybody away and it needs more polishing or whatever the case may be. But we already got confirmation that was an old build version of the game. The new build version of the game we haven't even seen yet. So it's going to blow us away. So I'm not worried about Insomniac Games delivering Spider-Man 2, but let's be real. Starfield, that's what we need to talk about. Starfield is way bigger than Spider-Man 2 in terms of hype and scale, in terms of magnitude. I mean, Starfield is the second coming of Christ. This is Bethesda's newest IP in terms of like scale, in terms of something different, right? So this game, man, this is more ambitious than Elder Scrolls was before it came out. Like, listen, I'm being for real. Or more ambitious than Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, this game is supposed to be like the granddaddy of all games. That game better deliver. Because here's the thing. You think Spider-Man 2 is getting it bad right now? Oh, wait until I am telling you right now, Starfield better deliver. Or else we gonna have a big freaking problem. So on the green side, yeah, Sony might have effed up, right? But Sony got to redeem themselves with another showcase, right? And rightfully so, I kept the same energy and I called them out and I'm like, listen, Sony, you got to do better than this. We know you can do better than it. We know you've been doing good this entire generation so far. Leading up to this year, you didn't really drop anything major first party this year, right? So you need to really, really, really focus and make sure that everybody understands why they should keep their PS5. Microsoft, on the other hand, they got a lot of work to do. Like, I can't wait to see Stalker 2. I can't wait to see Hellblade 2 and Starfield and Forspoken. What was the game I was about to say? Everwild. That's the game I was mixing up Forspoken with. Everwild. Like, I can't wait to see Fable. You better show gameplay for Fable. You better show gameplay for State of Decay 3. Like, these games, bro, I'm telling you, these games, they better have gameplays for these games. Right? Considering that we heard that, well, they're pulling out of the whole 12-month plan and they're just going to show what they got. Microsoft got to own it. They got to own it, guys. They got to own it. McShawn, thank you so much. Thank you for the $2. It says, how is Halo in shambles, but Last of Us wasn't? Who's saying, what are you talking about? I mean, let's be real. Look at what's going on with Halo right now. Is Halo even the same? Look at 343. Let's not go back over that. I don't know why we acting like Halo is the same. Halo is not the same. If you look at the numbers and stuff like that, you know, Horizon 5 was the best performing game in 2021 for them. not Halo Infinite. I mean, Horizon 5 was pulling in, what, 30 million something players or something like that? More people signing up for Game Pass more than ever before. It was not Halo. Halo is not the same. 343 is in shambles, right? The roadmap for Halo is in shambles at this point. Like, Halo is just not the same. It's just not the same. Period. Why do you think they're trying to switch engines and trying to see if they can reboot the franchise or whatever, go back to the drawing board where Halo ain't been the same since, bro? I told you guys, since Halo 3. Maybe Reach. Some people could say Reach. Come on, man. Let's not kid ourselves, man. Let's not kid ourselves here. All right? Let's not kid ourselves. Halo ain't the same. And you talking about Last of Us, like, I think Last of Us did, what, 1 million copies so far on PC. The PC segment for Sony is doing good, right? I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. Like, let's get to the Q&A, bro. I'm done. That's the main part of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the main part of the show. Let's get to the Q&A because I really want to hear what you guys have to say. You know what I'm saying? I really want to hear what you guys have to say, y'all opinion. If y'all think Halo is fine and Halo ain't in shambles, hey, that's y'all opinion. I can't argue with you guys on that. Halo ain't the same. All right, the game has been in development hell, right? I mean, they outsourcing all these, contracting all these developers and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's like 343 should have never been on Halo. When they first showed Halo off to us, and the game looked rough. They had to delay the game. You see what I'm saying? The game didn't even look next gen. Man, Halo haven't been the same. The campaign was good. All right. It wasn't great. It wasn't up to the Halo standards, but it was okay. Right? Now, the multiplayer, no. Man. Halo ain't just the same. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Halo is just not the same. People are ready to move on to something else now. It's just not the same. Your biggest IP in the world, and it's just not the same. Halo is the face of Xbox. And unfortunately, like, Halo is just, I don't know. Halo is just like COD now. It's just stale, old, dated. I don't know. I just don't know. It says, just in a match, Halo Infinite Online is fun. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Come in with your questions. Leon Eskin says, having a hard time finding a reason to buy an Xbox. I'm just saying. Now, let me ask y'all this. Looking at Halo Infinite right now, would you buy a Series X for Halo Infinite? I'm just saying. Because a lot of you guys seem to be happy, you know, with Halo Infinite at this point. How they release Halo Infinite in pieces and this bullcrap roadmap crap. Like, all these promises. Would you buy a Series X for Halo? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. No. Nope. The answer is no. I'm not going to look at Halo Infinite and be like, yo, I got to get me an Xbox. I got to get me a Series X to play this. Nah, bruh. Not where you can play it on PC. That way you can play it in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a console system seller. It don't even look that groundbreaking enough for you to buy the most powerful version of it, which is the Series X in terms of consoles. So no, the answer is no. There's no way. It says, after that show, give me a reason to buy a PS5. Okay, well, I can say If you don't care about what Sony has released in the past almost 3 years, then I can see where you're coming from. I can see where you're coming from with that. But at least Sony got a lot of games, a lot more games. There's a lot more reasons to buy a PS5 leading up to this showcase, though. So I'm saying, if you don't care, which I was saying earlier in the show, if you don't care about all the other games that Sony has released over the past 2+ years, if you're telling me you don't care about those games, then okay. If you're not sold on Spider-Man 2, then okay. I can see why I can see why you're saying what you're saying. Give me a reason to buy a PS5 after that showcase. Okay. Because after that showcase, it's like, okay, we know about Spider-Man 2. Maybe you don't like Spider-Man. Not everybody is going to love Spider-Man. Right? So I could see that. I could see why somebody would say, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm not buying no PS5 right now. I don't know, man. To each his own. All right, let's see here. What if Final Fantasy 16 reviews poorly? I highly doubt it's going to review poorly, but people are still going to buy Final Fantasy because they have a core fan base. It says got both. Yeah, Xbox is down bad. Facts. They said that's straight facts, but Xbox only needs Starfield to be good. And there you got a killer app, but yeah, Starfield needs to be solid. Oh, bro, Starfield needs to deliver. Facts. Period. Thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate it. It says Bungie has become the new Thanos of Sony's other development games. It says PS5 Showcase. You mean CGI Showcase? Yeah, CGI Showcase. It says if Hellblade 2 also drops this year, don't want to hear Xbox got no games. That's what I'm saying. If Hellblade 2 drops this year, I mean, look at the lineup of games for Xbox for this year. Stalker 2, right? That looks amazing. Forza Motorsport, that looks amazing. What else? Starfield, that's up in the air at this point, right? I mean, Xbox got some solid stuff that's supposed to be dropping this year. We just need to see more gameplay on it and get release dates for these games, right? Period. So there you go. It says IGN preview didn't sound too exciting about campaign. Well, there you go. But Final Fantasy got their core fan base. So, I mean, people are going to buy whatever they want to buy, regardless. People are going to buy Final Fantasy 16 regardless. It's just like Zelda. Like, you think people, even if Zelda was reviewing bad, people still was going to buy it, because they have their core fan base. Just like Spider-Man 2. Everybody's like, oh, Spider-Man 2 this, Spider-Man 2 that. People are still going to buy it. The core fan base of Spider-Man is still going to buy it. Yeah, the game needs more polishing. Yeah, we understand that, but people are still going to buy it anyway. Yeah, I would say, I mean, let's hope Tony Todd was, telling the truth about September. I mean, it could very well be September, but who knows? Maybe possibly October or November. We'll see. It says, Marlon, in your opinion, do you think that Game Pass is holding back the quality of their games when it comes to utilizing the power of Series X? Now, here's the thing. Game Pass is just a shell. It's just a service. Now, yes, because Game Pass is like the main focus, and some people say, oh, it's free in terms of when the games are in there in the service. Like, yeah. I mean, if you're, remember, Game Pass is a conveyor belt of games. That's literally all it is, right? Microsoft knows that they have to uphold releasing certain amount of games in a Game Pass in order to keep it relevant, right? So if it means rushing said game out to get it into the service, then that's what they're going to do. Make sense? There you go. Well, I mean, yeah, well, there's that, right? There's that. Most of the games shown at the showcase will be both on PS5 and Series X. Can we say that Sony shared the cake with Xbox Series? It says, but Forza Horizon 5 was on Game Pass and the quality was amazing. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. You see what I'm saying? There are exceptions. Look at Redfall. Case in point, there are going to be exceptions. Not am I saying every single game that's going to be, in Game Pass is going to be bad quality? No. There are going to be exceptions. Hellblade 2 is going to be in Game Pass. Forza Motorsport is going to be in Game Pass. A lot of the games, Stalker 2, Starfield, all those games, Fable, State of Decay 3, Everwild, Indiana Jones, Perfect Dark. A lot of those games are going to be in Game Pass, and those games are supposed to be at higher quality. So, it's on a case-by-case basis. Some games are going to be good. Some games are going to be bad in quality. That's just the way it is. It says, let's be honest. Sony has all these games and not one decent FPS shooter. No Killzone, no SOCOM, no nothing. I'm just saying, bro. That's the thing. Sony has to have a strong... That's why I was saying earlier. Sony needs to have a stronger backbone when it comes to their multiplayer games. We know that they got the single-player stuff sold up. We need you to just come out and dominate the multiplayer department because Microsoft is good when it comes to multiplayer. Microsoft ain't worried about nothing. If this deal goes through and they do get Call of Duty, okay, well, there you go on that one. But Microsoft has never been struggling in the shooter department. They've always been known as the shooter box. So, again, if it's Sony that needs to step it up in that department, and rightfully so, we need to keep calling Sony out until they start dropping solid multiplayer IPs that can keep us coming back. Wouldn't it be ironic if the Xbox Showcase shows the same as PS5 with a few exclusives? That would be crazy. Exactly. That could very well be the case. Says, I just feel like as a hardcore gamer, we kind of losing on both sides. It's looking that way, man. It's looking that way. Says, I trust Playground Games with Fable. They don't miss. Same thing with Insomniac. Exactly. It said, this is why I say Xbox online ecosystem is better and Sony take the crown for single player. Yeah, that's how it's always been. Microsoft got the multiplayer stuff sold up. Sony, on the other hand, they got the single player stuff sold up. So it's just that they just need to dominate in that area now because we're living in an era where live service games are taking over the industry, right? And Sony wants a piece of that pie. So in order for you to have a piece of that pie, you need to make sure that your game is keeping people going and locked in and engaged and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot to think about. It says Halo Infinite was over 1 million created Forge maps. I think it's worth a Series X purchase. Okay. Let's see here. It says casuals have taken over the gaming industry spend-wise. It's only going to get worse going forward. Hey, it is. Look at Fortnite. It says Nintendo watching Sony and Microsoft yeah. It says live services is king. Everyone wants to play online with friends. There's nothing wrong with live service games. It just matters on how you structure it. You know what I mean? Monetary wise. It says, we tried to tell Sony, but are they listening? I hope they are because, after receiving... Oh, and by the way, did y'all hear that Alan Wake 2 is digital only? There's going to be no physical copies? Ooh. Make sure y'all like the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. Oh, boy. Are you... See, I'm telling you, this is where the industry is going, to an all digital future. Are you buying Alan Wake 2? Oh, God. Alan Wake 2. Are you buying Alan Wake 2? Being digital only. Some of y'all love digital games, so... Man, that's where the industry... is shifting towards digital only, So there you go. Hey, the biggest Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It says, get ready. Xbox Showcase CGI and PC gameplay. Yeah, man. So it's been confirmed that that Alan Wake 2 is there's not going to be a physical release of the game. I'm like, what? I can't even wrap my head around that. I just that's what I'm saying, man. I love collecting my games. I love collecting my games physical, man, but that's the way of the future. That's the way of the future, bro. It says, I think live service games are great, especially in this current day and age, but they just have to be structured a certain way. Exactly. And probably hence why Sony has just been moving stuff around, restructuring stuff around. And that's why we have all these layoffs. Maybe that's why, man. You know? It says, yeah, I heard that THQ wanted to put up the money for physical, but Remedy says they are making it digital to keep the price $50-$60. Okay, that makes sense. This is bro, yes, it will only be digital because I heard we will save on buying the game too, bro. Man, don't nobody buy physical anything. He says, let's go. Physical games died with CD music. Oh, Lord. Man, I don't know. I'm old school, man. I'm old school. Like I said, I love, don't get me wrong. Digital stuff is convenient, especially if I get a review copy of a game or something like that. But I prefer buying the game. I'll waste gas and go out to the store and get a physical game or buy it online and get it shipped to me. I just love collecting my games, bro. But, I mean, the future is up on us, guys. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, Activision's been doing it. I mean, a lot of publishers has been pushing the digital only agenda. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It says, do you think that the physical copies of games are dying as of now? Yeah, I mean, it's starting to. I mean, look at Game Pass. Nobody on the Xbox side buy any physical games. Nobody on the Xbox side buy physical games. Nobody does because he got Game Pass. That's why when you go into GameStop, you see more physical PS5 games than you do Xbox because Xbox gamers have Game Pass. There's no need to rush to the store to go buy a physical copy of Fable or a physical copy of Gears or a physical copy of Hellblade 2. Who's going to run out to the store and buy a physical copy when you have Game Pass? So, I mean, if Game Pass is part of the future, bro, Game Pass is a true testimony, is a true eye-opener that digital gaming is right in front of our eyes. So I'm just saying. Well, yeah, I mean, we've been hearing about GameStop, closing down for forever. It said convenience is usually trap long term. It said convenience is usually trap long term. It says, bro, if Nintendo next console was all digital and it's powerful like PS5 and Series X, you would buy. I would. I mean, I don't know about Nintendo doing that, but I mean, we wouldn't have no choice but to buy it. I mean, if that's the only console that they have. So Marlon Gaming Nation, did you play Pokemon Emerald back in it? Long time ago. Long time ago. It says you could have done a poll who was buying. Not anybody buying an Inspector Gadget game. Are you kidding me? Nobody is buying that. Nobody is buying that mess. It said, do you know what's sad? All of the games are third-party shooters and no first-party. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying, bro. I mean, I don't know, man. Make sure y'all like the stream. If you are enjoying the Q&A, if you enjoyed the show today, subscribe. If you're brand new to the channel, turn on that post notification bell. If you have super chats are welcome if you have any questions or concerns. All right, let's get back into the questions. It says PlayStation Plus game catalog has some really good games. Yep, they do. It says, which studio do you think are holding up Sony right now? I don't know, man. I mean, Naughty Dog is in question right now. Obviously, Factions 2 has to be reevaluated. I mean, Deviation Games, I mean, them being a partner with Sony right now, that's in shambles. What else? I mean, who else? Who else? Visual Arts, I'm guessing they're shadowing the same thing of what's going on with the Factions 2 effect. I don't know, man. I just think Sony got games ready. They just haven't shown them yet. Solid Snake, what's up? How you doing? Make sure y'all like the stream, share the stream, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get it. This is big ups to you and the grind. You have been on, fam. It says, I just wanted to say that you deserve that so much. You deserve. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Man, that's the only way. That's the only way to do it, man. Just be on the grind. Physical games should now come on micro SD cards. It says no optical drive to make console. Well, hence why Sony is supposed to be coming out with that digital PS5, right? Basically a slimmer version of the PS5, but with the detachable drive. I mean, there you go. So, I mean, hence why we've been hearing that. Chuck, what's up, man? What happened to Wolverine? Well, Wolverine is still in development. We just haven't seen it at the PS5 Showcase. And granted, going into the PS5 Showcase, I mean, it was already a 50-50 ordeal from the jump. So, I mean, there's that. Yo! What's up? What's up? What's up? Skizzle, the man, the hardest working man in YouTube. What's up, Skizzle Axe? I know you waiting on that GTA 6. For those of you who are talking about GTA 6, was going to make an appearance at the PS5 Showcase, you were smoking, I don't know what the heck kind of crack you were smoking, but you were smoking you were smoking a bad joint because, yeah, Rockstar Games does not need Sony for GTA 6. Period. End of story. I mean, after that lackluster PS5 Showcase, you honestly think GTA 6 was going to be in there? Yeah, you're crazy in your brains. It says Days Gone could have been the next Horizon franchise. Yeah, but unfortunately, they didn't greenlit it. It says, I agree, bro, that if you have games ready or in development, show us what you got so that we can have something to look forward to keep playing on PS5 and Series X. Exactly. Exactly. Like, listen, all I'm saying is, I know that these games, he said, yeah, I expect GTA 6 to be revealed by 2077. Listen, all I'm saying is that I expect these games to be revealed when they're ready to be revealed. You know, I don't want you to show games that is looking rough or looking mid, because once it's out there, the damage is already done, right? So people want to see these high production games, these games that are fully utilizing the hardware that they spent $500 for almost 3 years ago. That's what people want, right? So if the games are ready to be shown, show them, right? So that people can be invested into the PS5 even more. More people can buy more PS5s, you know, that are looking to buy one. And then people who already have PS5s can keep their PS5s. Simple as that, right? But don't just leave us in the dark with a bunch of CGI freaking trailer, no release date on half of them. And then PSVR 2 is up in the air at this point because you showed, what, 5 or 6 games and none of them were groundbreaking. RE4 Remake, VR didn't even have a release date. What in the entire world? What's this? Arizona Sunshine? What's it? Foam Star or whatever that lame freaking Splatoon crap that they were showing off. Like, really? Where's the creativity there? Like, it's just, and we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. What are we, like 11 or 10 years old? Like, I don't understand, man. It's just, I don't get it, man. It's just a waste of time. Phantom Liberty is going to be at Summer Game Fest. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to be at Summer Game Fest for sure. It says, your work ethic motivates me to grind harder. And that's real, man. Thank you so much, King Mo. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That's why I do what I do, you know, for you guys. It says, what happened to Sunset Overdrive? Oh, you could guess what happened to Sunset Overdrive, man. You mean Sunset Overdrive 2. Let's see here. Yeah, Foam Stars, right? Yeah. Come on, bruh. Come on. A Splatoon ripoff? Come on, man. Like, I was like, wait, what is this? Like, really? But okay. Maybe some people are excited for Foam Star. I don't know. It says, am I the only one who thinks that GTA is overrated? I think that goes without saying, buddy. It says, all I see is people doing is driving cars into... He said driving cars into ramps and beat it up. Hey, man, GTA is just a game that you get lost in. You know what I'm saying? People jacking cars and jumping out of planes and... Oh, my God. List goes on and on and on. GTA is going to always be GTA, right? You know? People always say, same thing, different toilet. Same crap, different toilet. That's it. That's GTA right there. You're going to be doing the same thing. The gameplay mechanic, the core gameplay elements is going to be the same. It's just going to be better graphics, different characters, and a different city. But GTA is going to be GTA. And people are going to buy it. Yo, Cyber, what's up? How you doing? I mean, let's be real, bro. Says Alan Wake 2 look good. Yeah, Alan Wake 2 look good. I can't wait to play Alan Wake 2. I think they're going to be showing gameplay at Summer Game Fest, so we'll see what's up with that. And see, the thing with GTA, like with COD, it prints money. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? There are certain games that can get away with that. Like if Sony sits there and make, all right, a first iteration of a game, right? Where it's like, okay, this is the first one, right? Then you make 2 and then you make 3. After the third game, people are getting tired of it. Like, okay, this is the same thing over and over again, right? I'm tired of this, Sony. Like, you need to reboot the franchise or you need to just stop. Just same thing with Uncharted. Like Uncharted 1 through 4, people were just like, oh my God, I'm tired of Uncharted now. Like after Uncharted 3, a lot of people was like, we don't need no more Uncharted. And we got Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 blow everybody away. And then it's like, okay, all right, that's enough Uncharted. But when it comes to bigger games like GTA and Call of Duty and Fortnite is just the same thing over and over again. They just added all these new seasons and added all these new characters and, you know what I mean? All this new items and this and that, new suits, new costumes, this and that, weapons, you know, different locations. It's the same thing. The same thing you're playing over and over again. You know what I mean? But they're keeping it going with the microtransactions and new seasons. And I mean, it's the same thing, bro. We playing the same thing with COD. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know. It's true, man. It's true. It's true. It says like 2K and Madden. Yeah, same thing over and over again. Why you think a lot of people are tired of freaking Madden? Madden is the same thing for years. Yeah, they change up some of the gameplay mechanics and make it more realistic, like the last Madden game that we had. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense was a lot better than the previous years, and the offense was better, you know, and it is so much things that they change in the game, right? But it's literally at the core of the game, it's the same thing over and over again. So, you know, and they're going to keep making Madden. They're going to keep making FIFA. It's the same thing over and over again. FIFA is the same. Madden is the same. NBA 2K is the same. It's the same thing. GTA is the same. COD is the same. You know, like, so people are getting tired of those games. But again, the reason why people are coming back to it is like, oh, okay, new story, or okay, oh, the graphics. You know what I mean? Or they might change up some things with the multiplayer, add new maps, or just keep people locked in and intrigued. But it's literally the same thing over and over again, bro. The same thing. And people are getting tired of playing the same thing. But Final Fantasy core mechanics, always new. For the most part, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, from the whole role-playing aspect of it, I mean, yes, with Final Fantasy 16, they just kind of just went a whole different kind of route and things like that with the combat and stuff. But, I mean, at the core, you can tell it's still Final Fantasy, right? Um, it says, man, I miss the old school PS2 Madden. Yeah, for sure. It says the third GTA is when people know GTA. Ha. Let's see here. It says, I just started to play the Arkham games again. Oh, yeah, the Arkham games are really good. It says Assassin's Creed. Oh, Assassin's Creed. Oh, my God. Tired of Assassin's Creed at this point. I was looking at Mirage. I'm like, oh, saw that already. Oh, that's like Brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Assassin's Creed Brotherhood at this point. Like, oh, already played that already experienced that already. I'm like, oh, my God, bro. Like, can we get something new? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. Assassin's Creed Mirage is the same thing. It's the same thing. Now, the reason why I felt like people love Valhalla so much was because I guess it was a little different in terms of the story and how the game was structured and things of that nature. But, I mean, I guess Valhalla was refreshing for a lot of people. And then rightfully so, I think it's one of the best Assassin's Creed games in a long time. But other than that, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing, bro. Same thing over and over again. Peter says the main reason why people keep buying these games is because sports play a big role in a lot of people's lives. These companies like 2K and EA. Yep, they have no good competition. That is facts. It's true. King Mo, what's up, man? Man, King, I just been taking a seat back on Twitch because I just been playing a lot of games that it's kind of dry at this point. Nobody wants to see you play Jedi Survivor. Nobody wants to see you play, your old Hogwarts Legacy and all these older games. So I just been taking a step back and just kind of catching up on back catalogs of games before I, start doing that again. It says, how it is, bro. Money talks with most of these gaming studios. Yeah, it's all about money. It's really all about money. It's really all about money, you know what I mean, at this point for a lot of people, because I think at the end of the day, man, it's like, yo, listen, bro, like, I don't know, man. I just, everybody is in business to make money. Sony is in business to make money. But when your greed outweighs your passion, that's a problem. That's a problem. Like, we can't have that. Oh, no, we can't have that. We cannot have that. MMA Pro Fighter, you saying that Valhalla was the worst? Some people love Valhalla. You know what I mean? Some people said that it was the best. I mean, to me, Valhalla was good. It was a good game. It wasn't terrible by the stretch of the imagination, but compared to the older AC games, like the original Assassin's Creed, after Brotherhood, I felt like Assassin's Creed fall off for me. That was it. After Brotherhood to me was the last groundbreaking Assassin's Creed game. Valhalla was good, but it ain't on the level of the older Assassin's Creed games. Just my opinion. You say you didn't really like Valhalla? Yeah, Origins and Odyssey, some people didn't really like those too. But I'm telling you guys, like, after Brotherhood was the last GOAT of AC games. Like, I'm being real. Anybody, you can ask anybody, because I love Assassin's Creed, and I played Brotherhood and I finished it, and it was really good. But same thing with Assassin's Creed, man. They were just dropping them Assassin's Creed games year over year, and it was the same thing over and over again. And people was tired of the same thing. People was getting tired of that crap to the point where it started showing up in the sales. So, I mean, Syndicate, it wasn't too bad. Syndicate wasn't too bad. It said this is why people is excited for the Japan AC. Yeah. I mean, Mirage is more of the same. I mean, Mirage ain't really doing nothing groundbreaking that we have never seen before. But, hey, I guess people are excited for Mirage. Ain't Mirage like, what, $50 or something like that? But yeah, return to AC 1 and 2, something like that for Mirage. But I get it. Mick Sean, thank you for the $5. Says, Marlon, you hype for that Minecraft they showed at the... Man, no, sir. I mean, it looked okay, but I don't care for Minecraft, man. Listen, I played Minecraft back in the day on the Switch. I've played Minecraft. I'm just not into Minecraft like that, man. It's just way too kiddie for me, dog. It says same thing about the Fast movies. Ludacris said they keep making it because it make millions. Yeah. I remember I heard when Ludacris said that, but didn't they see a 65? I saw it recently on Twitter. They saw a 65.7% decline in terms of box opening, like performance, in terms of sales. Like a lot of people didn't go watch this Fast 10 movie. Like it's starting to fall off because it's like, because it's making millions don't mean that you need to keep making it. Like you also need to make sure that the franchise stay relevant and fresh. Same thing with the Fast movies. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I love Paul Walker. I'm a car junkie. I love cars. I love to work on cars. I used to race cars back in the day, and I fell in love with Paul Walker. R.I.P. Paul Walker. But I think after Paul Walker passed, everybody can attest to this. Like Fast hasn't been the same, and this is facts. I felt like after 7, like that should have been it. You see what I'm saying? 8 was just like a loose cannon. 8 was all over the place. 9, we're in freaking space. And it was just all over the place in terms of like, I don't know, the plot and just how everything was kind of structured. It was okay. Fast 9 was okay. 8 was just You know what I'm saying? But after 7, they should have just stopped. After Paul passed, like, just haven't been the same. And that's facts, man. Just keeping it real with you guys. It should have been 7 and that's it. Like Fast 7 and that's it. And remember, before Paul passed, he said that, man, we gonna keep making Fast movies. You know, as long as people, he said it in one of his interviews, like, listen, the fan base is huge for Fast, and there's gonna be I think he said a Fast 10, a Fast 9, that we just gonna keep on making them. But also, he did say, like, we're going to tap into making it very interesting and different, and the stunts, you know, making the stunts better and all of that type of stuff. It's not just about racing cars and there's just like one main villain. It's just the same thing over and over again, right? It's just like, oh, Dom, oh, it's about family, and oh, it's this and all that. And it's just the same thing over and over again. So it's just like, they're going to keep making, I think, 2 more movies after Fast 10. Listen, bro, I don't know. I just don't freaking know. It's just like, if you're not making it interesting and intriguing to keep people watching, it's going to fall off. And it's already fallen off with 10. It's already fallen off after 7. It's just haven't been the same. Facts. It says, I hope Santa Monica doesn't do the same with God of War. Yeah, they already got another God of War. You know what I'm saying? Like, Assassin's Creed 2 is the best. Brotherhood and Revelations because I love Ezio. Yeah, Ezio. It says, have you seen Running Scared? One of Paul's best. Oh, yeah, for sure. It says, it's not easy streaming every day on here. It can take a toll. Hey, I'm telling you, bro. That's why I took the weekend off, because my voice was going away. And I was just exhausted. So I wanted to rest my voice. It says Fast 10 is a sequel to Fast 5. Yeah. But, I mean, people still wasn't really watching it as much. Like, the opening box office, the numbers weren't the same like the other ones. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can make money off of something. But if you're not making it fresh and different every single time to keep the numbers going, then you might as well just pack up your lunch kit. You know what I'm saying? Pack up your lunch kit. Have you played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Yes. I haven't finished it yet. I just been sidetracked with finishing. I finished up Resident Evil 4, and I finished, what other game I finished? I finished Resident Evil 4, and I finished another game. I can't think about what game that is right now. My brain is all over the place. But yeah, I finished like 2 games so far. And now I'm working on Jedi Survivor and working on Hogwarts Legacy and Zelda. So I'm busy with back catalog of stuff. It says after a while, yeah, oversaturation. Yeah, it's just oversaturated. You know, I'll be okay. Listen, I'll be okay if they hang it up with fast. If they were just like, hey, you know what? We're done. We're done. Okay. All right, cool. Because at this point, it's just like, come on. Oh, Dead Space. That's right. Yeah, Dead Space. So I finished Dead Space. Finally finished that up. What, like 2 weeks now. Finish Resident Evil 4 remake. That was phenomenal, by the way. And yeah, so I'm just trying to finish. And I told you guys I've already finished up. Ragnarok has been done. I've been finished that because I did the review on that. You guys saw the ending credits on stream. Finished up Burning Shores. So yeah, just a lot of stuff to finish up, man. It says, yep, I agree with time for new ideas. Facts. Diablo, man, I'm trying to finish up all this stuff, man. Yes, Callisto Protocol, I finished that. Yes, Ben finished that. I finished it out on Twitch. I don't know if you were on Twitch when I finished it, but you can ask a lot of people in here. I finished it. It says they need Fast 11. 10 ended with a cliffhanger. Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like all the Fast movies ending with a cliffhanger. It says, have you guys heard from the biggest hypocrite on YouTube? Xbox has indie games. What garbage? Oh, PlayStation has indie games. It's amazing. Great show. Oh, Lord. I'm done. This is Play Alone in the Dark prologue. Yeah, I heard about that. Oh, yeah, I'm getting Street Fighter 6 for sure. I'm getting Street Fighter 6. It says Microsoft just sitting on Banjo and Conker's bad. Yeah, for sure. Bad Fur Day. I see they deserve the AAA treatment like Nintendo do with Mario World games with genius level designs. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft got games that they're sitting on. Killer Instinct. What's going on with Killer Instinct? You know, a lot of people want Killer Instinct to make a return. Let's see if they'll show it there. Some people are saying that Microsoft might shadow drop the Gears collection. And I think they said that the Gears collection is rumored to be some like a fresh remake from the ground up, right? So we'll see. We'll update it, you know what I mean, to modern times. We'll see what, I mean, they got some stuff that they can drop, shadow drop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'll see. Richard, what's up, man? How you doing? Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we out here. Street Fighter 6 looks horrible to me. It says, have you heard any news about Suicide Squad game? No. They've been quiet as a church mouse since they pushed it over into 2024. It says Disney is doing the same thing with live action films. Yeah, Tekken 8, we're going to see that at Summer Game Fest. It said the last time I've played Killer Instinct was on Super Nintendo. Wow. It says, hey, I saw ACG just did a review for a remake of a System Shock. It should be coming out soon. Okay. Let's see here. It says been playing Need for Speed Unbound. Super fun game. Oh, that's what's up. He said, I thought Alone in the Dark would be looking better than cartoonish. Oh, you don't like it? It says, yeah, I agree, Ernie. It says the graphics of the first game is so weird looking, making it terrifying. It said the only reason why I would get Alan Wake 2 is because they reserve the right and license agreement to remove the game with no notice to you, and it's all the games that are digital. Power Stone, yeah, for sure. It says, is there a game where we can fire Jim Ryan and Herman Hulse? Man, I don't know, man. It's just all the stuff that's happening right now. It you know, people are just questioning the leadership of Jim Ryan and Herman Hulse, but Sony have a chance to redeem themselves. They just got to drop another showcase and show us what they got, because that PS5 showcase, that ain't it, bro. That's gonna add to their L's, their closet of L's that they have taken over the years. I said, I think that Street Fighter 6 looks good. Already pre-ordered. My man Leon, let's get it. It says, I'm excited for Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Yep. I think that's dropping maybe 2025, 2026. Said they should make a Fast and Furious family simulator. That's funny. It says Street Fighter 6 is on par with Tekken 8, to be honest. Some people will say graphically Tekken 8 looks better. Matt Bodie, Matt Bodie, man, I don't know, bro. That man rarely comes out and even talk to us about anything. So, I'm just numb to him at this point. It says, I'll lose my ish if they show Gears of War 6. Man, I mean, you mean Gears Collection? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's see here. It says, yes, there is. Let's call company. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. I like Skill Up more than ACG. Gotcha. Let's see. He says, you heard rumor on Silent Hill remake Townfall and Ascension news soon. Yeah, I heard about that, but hopefully we get some information on that during Summer Game Fest. I mean, we'll see what actually happens, you know? Have you played Pokemon Scarlet and Nah. I haven't been too much into Pokemon in a long time. You know what I mean? I just kind of fall off of Pokemon at this point. I really hope to see Perfect Dark. Yeah, me too. And I really hope it blows us away, honestly. I really hope it blows us away. At this point, we deserve that. You know, like, man, there's so much stuff that I can sit here and talk about, guys, that I really want to see and want them to show and this and that. But ultimately, we'll see what happens. It says, would you like a Santa Monica to remake the first 3 God of Wars? Yeah, for only reason why I would say that, because for a lot of people who never played those older games, because there are people out there that did not play God of War 1 to 3. Now, are they God of War 1 to 3 collections out there or ways for you to play God of War 3 or whatever? Yes. But in terms of the first 2, yeah, I would love those to be remade because God of War 3 was remastered. So, I don't know. He said, Marlon, what times are you going to stream Summer Game Fest? I'll do it as early as possible. So, we'll see. But yeah, God of War 1 and 2 for sure. God of War 1 and 2, yeah. I mean, at this point, God of War, people would love that. People would love that. But yeah, so there you have it. But I appreciate you guys, man. Thank y'all so much, guys. I mean, this is like, you guys are the best, man. The best community ever. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. I can't stress it enough for the tremendous support on the channel, for subscribing, liking, sharing. Your hard work doesn't go unnoticed, helping out our community to continue to grow. I appreciate it, man. Holy freaking cow, guys. Blessings, man. Thank you guys so much for the support. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're brand new. Let's see if we could get over 400 likes on today's show like we've been doing. And yeah, guys, I'm going to go on ahead and get something to eat. I mean, I'm just functioning off of just some coffee. That's all I've been functioning off of this whole time. And a salad and some chicken wings from Wingstop from like a couple days ago. Like, that's why, salad don't really stay in your stomach that much. But love you guys, man. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. And salute to all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you guys do for the channel. All of you guys as a collective body. I appreciate y'all. I know I sound like a broken record, but love you guys, man. Thank y'all for having faith in me. And see you guys in tomorrow's stream. Love y'all. Take care. And as usual, let's keep it gaming. Peace.